Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Dimensional Chosen. Only I know Saitama is the strongest. Chapter 21. Face Alice. Isaacs has this absolute confidence. Although they are both mutants, his strength is undoubtedly the strongest. Alice, the serum you want is in my hand, but how can you get it from me? Isaac said as he took out a blue glass test tube from his coat pocket and played with it in his hand. It was the T-virus serum. This guy looked at Alice with a smile, as if he was not afraid of Alice exploding at all. It's hurtful. Just when the big boss Isaacs was showing off, Fang Yi, who was standing next to Alice, suddenly moved. He was motionless. This movement was like a bolt from the blue. Collapse. There was an explosion. The marble paved on the ground was directly stepped on by Fang Yi and cracked. And Fang Yi's whole body, like an arrow from the string, rushed towards Isaacs like thunder. Quick. Fang Yi's speed is really real. Too fast. This time, Fang Yi used all his strength without reservation. Under Fang Yi's full attack, Isaacs, who was sitting on the sofa, had no time to escape even if he reacted. Fang Yi said nothing, swinging the knife and slashing. It was obviously to kill Isaacs. It was an emergency. Isaacs had to make an emergency response and fell backwards, trying to escape the fatal blow. Under Fang Yi's sudden explosion, he can still react like this. I have to say that Isaacs is really powerful. But when Fang Yi suddenly attacked, Isaacs was caught off guard after all. Puff. Under Fang Yi's powerful blow, even a body of steel can be cut off by Fang Yi. Although Isaacs dodged, one arm remained permanently. Moreover, it was cut off. Yes, it was the hand he used to show off with the serum. Seeing the serum, Fang Yi stopped caring about Isaacs and grabbed the serum directly. Wesker, who was standing behind Isaacs, rushed out instantly, trying to stop him. Fang Yi. This guy is as fast as a ghost, but he still can't hide from Fang Yi's eyes. Roll. Fang Yi shouted low, and struck with a punch, just in time to hit Wesker, who was rushing towards him. Boom. A dull impact sounded. Wesker's whole body was blown away by Fang Yi's punch and smashed into the wall behind him. Alice and Carlos were overwhelmed by the sudden change. After the two of them saw clearly, everything had settled. Isaacs lost an arm. Wesker was stunned by the punch and couldn't recover for a long time. And the serum fell into Fang Yi's hands. Alice and Carlos were both shocked. Fang Yi's sudden outburst just now was like a ferocious beast waking up, ferocious. Fast. But Fang Yi's timing was perfect this time, and he truly achieved an unexpected effect, certainly. From Isaac's point of view, this young man was simply uneasy about playing tricks. How could they actually attack with all their strength even if they disagree with each other? Shouldn't we talk to each other first? Isaacs covered the broken arm with his left hand and looked at Fang Yi in shock and anger, speechless, at this time. Fang Yi finally felt at ease after receiving the serum. With the serum, he has completed 99% of his mission. There is only one step left: going outside to release the serum to eliminate all T-viruses and save the world. Releasing the serum in the hive won't do. The hive is too closed and buried deep underground, so the serum cannot flow out at all. Putting the serum into his pocket, Fang Yi looked at the frightened Isaacs. Here's a piece of advice for you: villains die from talking too much. After the words fell, Fang Yi did not rush to Isaacs again to eliminate the root cause. Instead, he turned around and left. Because he saw Isaacs pulling out a gun. With Isaac's strength and the gun, Fang Yi still had a certain degree of confidence. Threatening. Now that the mission is almost completed, Fang Yi doesn't want to fight Isaacs desperately. It's not worth it. Alice, I leave this to you. I want to go out, release the serum, and save the world. After saying that, Fang Yi left here quickly, leaving Alice and Carlos, who were confused. I have to say, Fang Yi was so shameless. He ran away, but left the mess to Alice. Especially, it's Isaacs who still has the strength to fight again, and the same goes for Wesker. Leaving Alice here is simply a trap for her. Of course, Fang Yi believes that as the protagonist of the world, Alice, with the protagonist's aura, should be able to deal with these two people. Watching Fang Yi leave, Isaacs yelled angrily, "Stop him!" Wesker heard the order and acted immediately. Naturally, Alice would not sit idly by and took action to stop Wesker. An indigenous war officially began. Fang Yi heard the sound of fighting behind him. There were also shots fired. However, he strode away without looking back. This time when he came to Forbidden Land number 2, his only goal was to complete Mission 3. Nothing else is within the scope of his concern. Even if Alice fails and dies in battle, it doesn't matter, because after this group of people leaves No. 2 Forbidden Land, everything in No. 2 Forbidden Land will be reset and restored to the way it was before. It's not just Forbidden Area No. 2. This is true for all other forbidden areas. For example, in the forbidden area of One Punch Man, Saitama is sea level and will always be sea level. He will not become B level over time. When Fang Yi walked out of the hive and returned to the ground, he found that the drivers of the 2 buses were hurriedly starting the vehicles and leaving. Turn out to be there were many zombies nearby. They were attracted by the living people, and they were howling and walking towards the 2 buses. The appearance of Fang Yi also alerted several zombies nearby, who began to surround him. Seeing this, Fang Yi didn't say anything, and directly smashed the serum in his hand on the ground. Boom! The glass test tube was smashed to pieces, and the T-virus serum inside floated out. Under the influence of the breeze, the serum quickly dispersed into the air, floating over a large area. Suddenly, several zombies surrounding it seemed to be broken. Like electric robots, they died quickly. The serum killed the T-virus in their bodies. And they were already walking zombies. Without the support of the T-virus, they died quickly. The serum continued to spread. Those zombies who were chasing the bus, the crowds fell down quickly like wheat. In the blink of an eye, there were corpses all over the ground. The survivors on the bus were shocked when they saw this scene. At this moment, Fang Yi, deep in his mind, a voice sounded. Congratulations, you completed Mission 3 and saved the world. Please note that you will leave this world in 10 seconds. Fang Yi was slightly startled. He originally thought that the mission would be complete only after the serum spread completely to the world and killed all T-virus infected people. Did not expect. Just let the serum spread and the mission is completed. Fang Yi laughed. That's fine, it saves him from wasting time waiting. Think about it too. If we really have to wait for the serum to spread around the world and kill all the T-viruses to complete the task, then 1 month may not be enough. Anyway, the serum has spread into the air, and the T-virus has nowhere to hide. Sooner or later, they will all be eliminated. It is reasonable to consider the task completed in advance. 10, 9, 8.3, 2, 1. The countdown ended. Fang Yi's figure also mysteriously disappeared out of thin air. This scene happened to be seen by the survivors on the bus, making them think that Fang Yi was a god who came to Earth to save them. Many people get out of the car immediately, kowtow to the place where Fang Yi disappeared, and pray devoutly. Exit to the forbidden area No. 2. In a lounge, a dozen teachers are sitting and chatting. Jingle bell. Suddenly, an alarm sounded in the room, startling everyone. A teacher looked at the time and said, 1 hour is up. It's time for the students to come out. Let's pick them up. After hearing this, other teachers stood up one after another, preparing to greet their students. Something needs to be said here. The time in the forbidden area is not consistent with the time in reality, and the speed of loss is not consistent. In forbidden area No. 2, no matter how long you stay in there, the real world outside, only 1 hour has ever passed. So, although it only took Fang Yi a few hours to complete the most difficult task, but as far as the teachers are concerned, the time he came out was exactly the same as that of the students who stayed for a month. Have to say, the Forbidden Land is truly mysterious and cannot be understood by mortals. There are also many people who believe that the emergence of forbidden areas is an opportunity given by gods to mortals to save themselves. If there is no forbidden area, the humans on this planet have long been wiped out by those terrifying alien beasts. The teachers came to the entrance of the forbidden area number 2, lined up consciously, and waited with peace of mind. Soon, students came out one after another. They went in one by one before, and now they come out one by one. When the first student came out, the black hole at the entrance to Forbidden Area 2 suddenly lit up with a flash of green. This scene was seen by all the teachers. Haha, he is my student, green evaluation, okay. A teacher said loudly. His tone was very happy. In Forbidden Area No. 2. After obtaining the task evaluation, there will be no direct sound broadcast. The only way to distinguish is to judge quality by color. The order from worst to best is gray, yellow, green, purple, red. The better the evaluation of the task, the higher the reward you will get. Green light. It's already a mid-range rating. I don't blame the teacher. He laughed out loud when he saw it. Teacher. The student looked very excited when he saw his teacher. He must have survived in the number 2 forbidden land for a month, which made him suffer a lot. After all, the number 2 forbidden land is a doomsday world. In addition to dealing with the threat of mutated creatures, you also have to think about how to survive. Whether it is food or water, it is not easy to obtain. You can imagine the hardships of surviving in such an environment for a month. Good boy, come here quickly. The teacher greeted his student and comforted him. Teacher, I know you have a lot to say, so don't get excited yet. Wait until the other students come out, then go back and talk slowly. Unexpectedly, when this student heard the words, other students, he burst into tears. Teacher, a team from our class encountered a group of mutated crows, and many people died. When the teacher heard this, his smile suddenly froze. Soon, his face turned extremely pale. As a teacher, of course he knows how powerful the mutant crows are. I was still overjoyed before. Unexpectedly, I heard the bad news in a blink of an eye. However, as a teacher, he has a strong willpower and does not lose his temper in public. He took a deep breath and said to his student, "Go and rest behind me first, and we'll wait for someone to come out." The student nodded and said nothing more. The other teachers next to him looked at this teacher with sympathetic eyes. At this time, a second student has also appeared. It's a girl. He was dirty and looked quite miserable. Behind her, a gray light lit up at the dimensional entrance. A teacher recognized his student and looked a little unhappy. Gray. That's the worst mission evaluation ever. With so many outsiders in front of him, the teacher couldn't reprimand his students, so he just said calmly, "Come here, let's go back together after the other students have come out." The girl lowered her head. Nothing was said. She also knew that her task evaluation must be very bad. Because in the Forbidden Area number 2, she was frightened after encountering a zombie. In the days that followed, she almost always hid in a basement and did not dare to go out. After hiding for nearly a month, it's surprising that her mission has a high rating. Next, one by one, students returned one after another. Some people rated highly and some rated low. Forbidden Area number 2 is simply a magic mirror, allowing these students' true performance to be revealed. Just because you do well in school doesn't mean you can do well in the Forbidden Area. After all, the school is just a safe greenhouse, while the Forbidden Area is full of dangers. Not everyone has the courage to face death. The teachers were naturally happy and worried at times. At this time, a beautiful girl appeared at the entrance to the Forbidden Area. And at the dimensional entrance behind her, a dazzling red light lit up. Red. This child's task evaluation is so outstanding. Whose student? Looking at the school uniform, it seems to be from Wusheng Academy. After several teachers exclaimed, they immediately looked at Yan Tai, the leading teacher of Wusheng Academy, at this time. After seeing Su Zaichou's mission evaluation, Yan Tai was stunned and couldn't believe it. Red rating represents an excellent rating. Wusheng Academy has been established for so many years, and the number of students with red evaluations in Forbidden Area 2 can be counted on one hand. Each of them will achieve great results in the future. Now, one more person is about to be added. This is definitely a happy event for Wusheng Academy. I believe the old principal will be extremely happy if the news spreads back. Lao Yan, why don't you go pick up your students quickly? A teacher's reminder came from the side, and Yan Tai finally woke up from his dream and immediately walked towards Su Zaichou. Looking at Yan Tai's excited back, the leading teacher of Wusheng Academy, Wang Liang, had a gloomy expression. Su Zaichou, very good. You are the pride of our Wusheng Academy. This compliment is indeed not low. However, when Su Zaichou heard this, her face was calm, even a little indifferent. Her eyes quickly searched around the crowd, and she couldn't help but ask. Teacher, is Fang Yi back? Fang Yi. This time Yan Tai led the team over, with 3 classes and more than 170 students in total. With so many students, Yan Tai couldn't remember who Fang Yi was for a moment. After recalling it carefully for a moment, I have a vague impression of Fang Yi. It seems he hasn't come out yet, Yan Tai said. Su Zaichou's pretty face turned sad when she heard this. Although she knew that no one could escape from the liquor, she still retained a glimmer of hope in her heart, hoping that a miracle would happen. Now she heard the teacher say this, her hopes were dashed, and a bit of sadness appeared subconsciously in her eyes. Thank you, teacher, I understand. Teacher Yan Tai is not a fool. Looking at Su Zaichou's expression, he knew what happened between Su Zaichou and Fang Yi in the forbidden area. No. 2. He didn't ask any more questions and said, Su Zaichou, you go and take a rest first. When other students come out, let's go back together. Su Zaichou nodded and walked towards the rest area. As soon as she left, there was a burst of exclamations from around her. It turned out that someone else's task evaluation had a striking red color. It was from Martial God College. The one who looked gentle and practical, Wang Liang, who was very hypocritical, immediately came up to him with a smile. Passing by Yan Tai, he even looked at Yan Tai meaningfully. At the same time, Fang Yi stood in a pure white alien space, receiving the reward given to him by Forbidden Land. No. 2. Congratulations, you performed extremely well in this forbidden area. You completed the ultimate task in only 323 minutes and received the highest task rating. You have gained 100 freely assignable attributes. You have obtained the superpower talent, Flame. As the beeps ended, Fang Yi's whole person was enveloped in a red light. After the red light ended, Fang Yi felt that there were some changes in his body. There seemed to be something in his dantian. The fire was burning, extremely hot. At the same time, there were some more memories in his mind. They were memories about raging flames. Raging flames. A type of flame, but the burning temperature is much higher than ordinary flames. The strength of the attack is related to the user's mental power. The higher the mental power, the more powerful the flame attack will be. After receiving the memory in his mind, Fang Yi couldn't wait to try the flame attack. The next moment, Fang Yi saw "raise your hands." A thought. Puff. The blazing flames burned directly from the palms of his hands. A normal person's hands could ignite strangely with flames. This scene looked a bit shocking and full of special effects. Then, Fang Yi clenched his fist and punched towards the air in front of me was blown away. Boom! A ball of flame flew directly from his hand, like a missile, attacking into the distance, and then exploded in the distance, erupting into a ball of fire, and finally dissipated in midair. Seeing this scene, Fang Yi was a little surprised. Why does this move of mine look more and more like Fire Fist Ace in One Piece, the more I look at it? The reason why I am not as strong as Ace is entirely because my current mental power is relatively weak. As long as my mental power improves, my future potential will definitely be stronger than Ace, and even stronger than Akainu. Single quote. Fang Yi thought secretly. It's not that Fang Yi is blindly arrogant. But in the memory he just obtained, as long as the mental power is high enough, Leon can also make the user become elemental. Just like Akainu, he is completely immune to physical attacks. Moreover, the temperature of the flames can continue to increase with the mental power, and can even reach the temperature of the core of the sun. By that time, Fang Yi only needs to rely on the ability of Leon to become invincible. Of course, this requires extremely high mental strength. It's a pity that Saitama's physique improves my mental power slowly. It only took 3 months for my mental power to double. It's far from being as fast as the other 3 attributes. Single quote. Fang Yi thought about it. The Forbidden Land had just rewarded him with 100 freely allocable attribute points. He might as well add them all to his mental attributes. Just do it. Name: Fang Yi. Race: human. Physique: 297. Spirit: 126. Strength: 301. Agility: 291. Bloodline: Saitama. Physique: awakened. Super talent: Flame. This is the attribute after Fang Yi added it. What a monster. Subsequently, Fang Yi used Leon again and punched out. Boom. There was an explosive roar in the midair in the distance, and a strong fire appeared, making the surrounding space red. The power was far greater than the previous punch. Fang Yi could feel the air even from far away, the vibration. Like an RPG rocket launcher, the explosion power produced after hitting the target. Fang Yi was a little surprised. Unexpectedly, after adding 100 points of mental power, the power actually increased so much. If Fang Yi encounters this again at this time, as for those mutants in Alice, Fang Yi can easily kill them instantly. For the power of flames. Fang Yi is very satisfied. It seems that I will participate more in places like Forbidden Land number 2 in the future, and all the free attribute points I get will be added to the mental attribute. Single quote. Lack of mental strength is a shortcoming of Saitama's physique. However, with the existence of forbidden areas, this shortcoming can obviously be filled. All rewards have been accepted, and it is time to leave here and return to the real world. On the left side of Fang Yi, there is a dimensional exit. Fang Yi walked towards the exit. The entrance to Forbidden Area No. 2. Wang Liang, the instructor of Wushan Academy, was glowing at the moment. This time, there were a total of 3 students with red evaluations in their martial arts academy, and they all received generous rewards, and their strength improved a lot. Not only that, the students of their martial arts academy also have the highest survival rate. When they came, there were 144 students. So far, 139 have come out, and only 5 died unexpectedly. The student survival rate is as high as 97%. This achievement can definitely make him proud. After all, Forbidden Area number 2, no playground. It is also a relatively dangerous place for newcomers. Die. It's a common thing. Like other colleges, a survival rate of 80% is already very good. Unfortunately, the loss rate even reached half. For example, a school called Blue Wing Academy brought in 166 new students, but only 79 of them successfully came out alive. The teacher from Blue Wing Academy fainted with fright after receiving this result. With so many students dying at once, the Ministry of Education will definitely hold their school accountable. All teachers who teach new students will face severe penalties. Well, Blue Wing Academy is so miserable. Yes, with such a loss rate, I'm afraid their principal will take the blame and resign. This time, Martial Arts Academy won again. They win every time, which is really frustrating. There is no way. Who gives the principal a big deal? The students recruited are among the best in the country. All of them are heroes and successful people. They have talents and abilities, and the survival rate is of course high. But this time, the dark horse is Wusheng Academy. Unexpectedly, Wusheng Academy, which is usually at the bottom, actually produced several students with good mission evaluations this time, and even a strong seed with a red evaluation. An hour has almost passed. I guess no students have come out, right? A few more minutes. Wait a minute. Lao Li, how many students do you have yet to come out? There are more than 20. The key is that the son of a leader in our city has not come out either. What? That would probably be a very bad thing. At this time, several teachers were gathering together and discussing quietly. Wang Liang heard the discussions of these teachers. When they said they heard about Wusheng Academy, a trace of gloom appeared on their originally red faces. The performance of the Holy Academy this time is indeed a bit unexpected. Especially the student named Su Zaichou. His future achievements are limitless. Under normal circumstances, students who can get high evaluations in the number 2 Forbidden Zone, if nothing unexpected happens, their future achievements it will not be too low. Because high evaluation means high rewards. Like the red task evaluation, you can directly get 80 points of freely allocated attributes. If you add them all to strength, you can become a powerful Superman in an instant. With this strength, when you go to the next forbidden area, the success rate will increase again. This forms a virtuous circle. If you get a poor task evaluation at the beginning, it will cause you to be unable to keep up with the echelon, forming a vicious circle. In the future forbidden areas, it will only become more and more dangerous. Therefore, generally those who can get a red evaluation in the number 2 forbidden area can be called strong seeds. Thinking of the beautiful girl just now, Wao Liang suddenly showed a thoughtful expression. He felt that he might be able to tell the school about this and ask the school to send people to dig out that student. Poaching students is something that is not done in various colleges. It's not a rare thing in school. When the time comes, if the student surnamed Yan loses this student, he probably won't be able to stand up for the rest of his life, right? The more he thought about it, the more excited Wang Liang became. He turned his head and faced the students in the rest area behind him. Looking at it, it was easy to find Su Zaichou. In fact, Su Zaichou was very beautiful, with a pure temperament, and was naturally easy to attract people's attention. However, at this time, Su Zaicho was staring at the entrance to the Forbidden Area number 2, which seemed a little bit absent-mindedly. At this moment, an exclamation came from the front. Someone is out. What happened? Why is this person's mission evaluation golden? Gold. What level of task evaluation is that? I remembered, the legendary highest mission rating is gold. Suddenly, the teacher group began to commotion. The teachers looked very surprised. And at the entrance to Forbidden Land number 2, a figure appeared. That was the last student to come out of the Forbidden Area alive. Judging from the clothes on his body, it is the uniform of Wusheng Academy. The most eye-catching thing is that after the student came out, a dazzling light burst out from the entrance to the number 2 Forbidden Area. Golden light. When a teacher shouted out that the legendary highest task evaluation was gold, everyone was immediately shocked. Highest mission rating. It has always been in the legend and has never appeared. Today, it appears. Those present witnessed a historic moment. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the student who came out last. He is Fang Yi. Regardless of Fang Yi's future achievements, today he set a new record. His name. He will be famous all over the world. In the future, if someone mentions the highest mission evaluation in the Forbidden Land, his name will not be avoided. A big bus. Start heading back. When we arrived, almost every car was full. Now, there are many empty buses. No one spoke in the car. The atmosphere is a bit sad. After all, the dead people are all classmates who we all get along with day and night. This trip to the Forbidden Area is enough for these students to grow up and recognize themselves. Many people have secretly decided to withdraw from school after returning to school. Everything they experienced in Forbidden Zone number 2 scared them. I think it's better to be an ordinary person. Certainly. More students, becoming more determined, on a bus. Fang Yi was alone, sitting in the back seat. He could feel that many students were secretly looking at him. Fang Yi doesn't care what others think of him. It is normal for someone to make such a big noise and be watched by people. At this moment, Fang Yi was closing his eyes. It seemed that he was concentrating with his eyes closed, but in fact, he was thinking about how to make up lies after returning to school. He was sure of it. After returning to school, someone will definitely ask him for questions. After all, Fang Yi received the highest mission evaluation ever. There must be countless people curious about how he did it. As for Fang Yi's behavior in the Forbidden Area number 2, he didn't want others to know about it. It only took more than 5 hours to complete the most difficult task. If he tells the truth when he goes back, not only will there be no benefit, but it will also cause him endless trouble. Lie is required. Fang Yi. A crisp voice sounded, attracting the attention of many people. Fang Yi opened his eyes and saw Su Zaicho, standing next to him, looking at him with deep meaning in her eyes. Can I sit here? Su Zaicho plucked up the courage and pointed to the empty seat next to Fang Yi. This scene was seen by many classmates in the car, and they were immediately surprised. What's going on? Is the goddess monitor taking a liking to Fang Yi? This guy Fang Yi, how can you be so virtuous? Not only was he lucky enough to get the highest task evaluation, but he also got the favor of a beauty. Many boys looked at Fang Yi with eyes full of jealousy. They had absolutely no idea that Su Zaicho favored Fang Yi. It's not because Fang Yi got an excellent task evaluation at all. Fang Yi nodded. He could see that Su Zaicho looked at him strangely. But Fang Yi was very straight and chose to ignore it. Now Fang Yi's goal is very clear, which is to become stronger. This world is very dangerous, and no one knows when will the next beast wave appear, and how many people will die by then. Before he becomes fully powerful, Fang Yi has no interest in spending time having a romantic relationship with a girl. Unless this girl wants to pursue him and be his licking go. Then Fang Yi can reluctantly accept it. After Su Zaicho sat down, he was not in a hurry to speak. Fang Yi also had no intention of speaking. The two of them were just silent. After a long time, Su Zaicho couldn't help it first. Said softly, Fang Yi, thank you. Fang Yi was thinking about how to lie when he went back. He really didn't want to pick up girls. Hearing this, he wanted to say a few perfunctory words and then send the girl away. As a result, Su Zaicho suddenly blushed again and said, "Why are you here? Everything I do, I will never forget." After saying these words, Su Zaicho stood up shyly, left as if running away, and sat in the front seat. Fang Yi. Fang Yi also discovered. Where Su Zaicho left, a small note was left in his hand. Fang Yi picked up the small piece of paper and smiled casually when he saw the content on it. On the note was a phone number. It was obviously Su Zaicho's number. Fang Yi thought for a while and put the note away. As for whether to make this call or not, it depends on his mood. Anyway, with Saitama's physique in hand, it is absolutely impossible for him to do such a shameful thing as toko in his life. Only others are responsible for his additional purchases. In front, teacher Yan Tai, who was sitting in the co-pilot of the bus, observed the actions of the two people through the rearview mirror. He smiled slightly and couldn't help but think of the past, when he was young. As he was thinking about it, a beautiful image appeared in his mind, which made him feel a pain in his heart. He shook his head, not thinking about the things that had passed. Through the rearview mirror, Yan Tai has been looking at Fang Yi sitting in the last row. He is very curious about this student now. In school, Fang Yi is usually very low-key and inconspicuous, so he is easily ignored by others. At least as a teacher, Yan Tai didn't have much impression of Fang Yi, did not expect. This kid is simply doing nothing but making a big splash. Outside the forbidden area number 2, if he hadn't stopped him and taken Fang Yi away quickly, I'm afraid those teachers would have wanted to take Fang Yi home. A student who created a historical record is enough to make all major colleges and universities proud. Put down your face to win over. Even fighting for it. Thinking of Wang Liang's shocked and ugly expression before, Yan Tai felt secretly happy. What a boost. Although in the end, Wusheng Academy's results this time were not the first. After all, a school cannot change the general trend by relying on just one or two students. However, Yan Tai was very happy to be able to discuss the hypocritical villain Wang Liang. Looking at Fang Yi's calm face in the rearview mirror, Yan Tai was proud but suddenly a little worried. He is worried about whether Wusheng Academy can keep Fang Yi. Because, after today's news spreads, Yan Tai can be sure that there will definitely be other universities offering generous offers to poach Fang Yi. A student who sets a historical record can not only bring glory to the school, but also stimulate the enthusiasm of other students. He can also take care of his classmates in other forbidden areas. There are many benefits. Yan Tai even felt that there would definitely be other universities that would use official power to forcibly transfer Fang Yi. This kind of thing is not unprecedented. Thinking of this, Yan Tai frowned, his face full of sorrow. But there was no use worrying him. He is just an ordinary tactics teacher. Whether you can keep Fang Yi depends on the school leaders and whether they can withstand the pressure. A few hours later, the bus finally returned to school. At this time, it was already 5 o'clock in the evening. After the students got off the bus, Yan Tai immediately shouted loudly, "Students, please don't run around tonight. There is a sumptuous dinner waiting for everyone in the cafeteria. It has been a tiring day. Remember to go back to the dormitory early to rest after eating." After leaving these words, Yan Tai ran away immediately. Although he had already spoken to the principal on the phone, he still had to go to the principal as soon as possible to explain the matter in detail so that the principal could prepare early. At the same time, he still has a list of killed students in his hand, and he must hand it in as soon as possible for the school to deal with. After Yan Tai left, the students showed no intention of talking and immediately dispersed. They will probably need to digest what they experienced in Forbidden Area number 2 for a long time, in a few minutes. Yan Tai came to a conference room in the office building. Opening the door, the conference room was already full. The principal, vice principal, dean of students, and several leaders of the school board were almost all present. These big shots are all waiting for him to come over and report. It seems that what happened in the Forbidden Area number 2 has attracted the attention of the school. Yan Tai guessed right. Almost immediately after he finished the phone call with the principal excitedly notified the school board and convened an emergency meeting. A red mission evaluation. Another one even broke the historical record and received the highest task evaluation. These two students appeared in a small temple like Wusheng Academy, which excited the school leaders. "Xiao Yan is here," Seeing Yan Tai come in, the principal smiled and said, "It's been a hard trip. Come sit down and have a cup of tea." Yan Tai walked to his seat, but did not sit down. Instead, he said anxiously, "I won't drink the tea. The situation is urgent. Let me report it to the leaders first." The principal was a little surprised. So urgent? Yan Tai nodded solemnly and said, "Principal, we were at the gate of Forbidden Area number 2. If I hadn't stopped me, I'm afraid the teachers in those universities would have been poaching people directly." "Principal, this is a student who has set a new record in history. We cannot ignore it. If we are poached by other colleges, it will not only be a huge loss to our Wusheng College." Speaking of which, Yan Tai's tone became a bit sincere. When the leaders heard this, their faces became serious. Of course the principal will not ignore Fang Yi. On the contrary. After receiving Yan Tai's notice, they immediately held an emergency meeting and have been discussing how to keep Fang Yi in the school. This shows how seriously they take it. However, what they didn't expect was that the teachers in those universities would eagerly start poaching people in front of Yan Tai. This was so shameless. "Teacher Yan is right," the principal said in a deep voice. "We finally have a student like Fang Yi here. If we can't keep him, the impact on the reputation of Wusheng College will be unprecedentedly huge. From now on, these 4 words, Martial Saint Academy, will probably become a laughingstock in the education world. On the contrary, as long as we retain this student, the benefits it will bring to Wusheng College are immeasurable." At this point, the principal glanced at several directors and said seriously, "So, next, keeping this student named Fang Yi is our key task. We must treat this matter as a hard-fought battle. Let's fight. Any scoundrels who want to poach us must be resolutely dealt with." Several directors nodded silently, agreeing with the principal's words. However, some people disagreed and questioned. According to the data, this student named Fang Yi is only suitable for a useless C-level hero with limited potential. Is it worth spending so much effort for him? Hearing this, Yan Tai immediately retorted, "Leadership and conformity to heroes are just temporary choices and do not fully represent an individual's potential. Moreover, this time in the Forbidden Area number 2, the student who was originally rated in red, if you encounter a licker, you will definitely die. It was classmate Fang Yi who risked his life to save her. No one knew that there was such a thing." After hearing this, everyone looked surprised. "Teacher Yan, are you saying that Fang Yi not only saved the student with a red evaluation, but also escaped from the licker?" A teacher couldn't help but ask, his tone full of disbelief. Of course they as teachers know how powerful the licker is. This thing is thick-skinned, powerful, and extremely agile. It can be said that it is completely born to hunt. When newcomers encounter such a monster, the chance of survival is very slim. And this student named Fang Yi can not only save people, but also run away on his own. For newcomers, it is really shocking and amazing record. It is enough to prove the potential of this student." "Yes," Yan Tai nodded and said, "for the specific details of this matter, you can ask the monitor of Class 3, the student who received a red evaluation." With Yan Tai's affirmation, everyone's attention to Fang Yi has gone up to a higher level. If these leaders knew that Fang Yi didn't run away, but easily killed the licker, I don't know what their expressions would be like. "Good," a director said excitedly. "Such a student, not to mention his potential, at least deserves an evaluation of being brave and resourceful." An old man even said, "I am still a bit weak in the Ministry of Education. There is pressure from the officialdom. I will come forward to solve it." Hearing this, the principal was overjoyed. "Then please leave it to Mr. Song." This Mr. Song was once a high-ranking official in the Ministry of Education and a teacher. He has many students all over the world. There are many students among them, who are big figures in the education system. With the emergence of such an old man, there is pressure from the officialdom. No longer a threat to Wusheng Academy. That night, as soon as Fang Yi finished dinner in the cafeteria, he was led by Yan Tai to the principal's office. The principal entertained him warmly, making tea and pouring water. He treated Fang Yi like an uncle. In the end, the principal exempted Fang Yi from all tuition and miscellaneous fees, and also gave Fang Yi a scholarship of 200,000 yuan every year. In the words of the principal, this is to allow Fang Yi to not have any worries, concentrate on breaking into the forbidden area, and become a strong man as soon as possible. Fang Yi is not a fool, so he naturally understands the actual intention. He also reciprocated the favor and gave the principal a reassurance. Of course, Fang Yi is not that stupid. He didn't say it to death. If Wusheng Academy treats him badly one day, he will leave at any time. Come out of the principal's office. Yan Tai was sending Fang Yi back to his dormitory. Of course, giving it away is a lie. Fang Yi is an adult now, so he still doesn't know how to get back to the dormitory. It should be Yan Tai who has something to say, as expected. Not long after he walked out of the teacher's building, Yan Tai said, Fang Yi, can you tell the teacher, what are the free attributes of your reward in the number 2 forbidden area this time? 100 points. Fang Yi said truthfully. Oh, 100. It's almost the same. The purple evaluation is 60 points and the red evaluation is 80 points. Yan Tai nodded and asked, then which attributes have you added? Fang Yi said truthfully again, all of them have been added to the mental attributes. More spirit. Hearing this, Yan Tai frowned immediately. Fang Yi, why did you think of adding spiritual attributes? That's not to say that mental attributes are unimportant, but freshmen like you who are just starting out need strength in the early stage, even if it is added to agility or physical fitness. Teacher, I added spiritual attributes because, Fang Yi said slowly, I'm lucky, and I got an extra reward. Yan Tai was stunned. What reward? Fang Yi didn't say anything, just raised his hand. Next moment, there was a pop sound. A ball of flame ignited from Fang Yi's hand. The sudden appearance of the blazing flame scared Yan Tai. Fire talent. Yan Tai was shocked. Then, his eyes turned red. Among the extraordinary powers in this world, superpower talents are relatively rare, let alone the fire talent with powerful attack power among superpower talents. No, it is said to be very rare, but at least it is a talent with great potential. You completed the most difficult task 3. Yan Tai asked excitedly. The third task in the forbidden area number 2 is a difficult problem that everyone wants to solve. Now that it has been solved by his students, why doesn't he get excited? The reason why Yan Tai guessed like this is of course because, 2 of the 3 tasks in the forbidden area, only task 3 is clearly marked and will have talent rewards. Of course not. Fang Yi quickly shook his head and said, I chose the first mission. The reason why I have the flame talent is because I got the highest mission evaluation. Forbidden Land number 2 reminded me that if I get the highest mission evaluation, I have a chance to get it, extra bonus. I was lucky enough to get the flame talent. He is not that stupid. He admits that the task he chose in Forbidden Area 2 is the most difficult one. A task that no one in the country can conquer, and he, a freshman, easily won it, still has the highest task rating. If the news gets out, will definitely bring huge trouble to Fang Yi. By then, he will definitely be investigated thoroughly. Not to mention the secret of Saitama's physique, maybe even the secret of him being a time traveler cannot be kept. Because this is possession a world of extraordinary power. Someone has psychic powers and can make people speak the truth. I see, Yan Tai believed it. From a subjective point of view, Yan Tai also felt that it was impossible for Fang Yi to complete the third most difficult task and receive the highest task evaluation. After all, the country has tried so many times and lost a lot of elites, but the task has not been completed. It must be very difficult. Even so, you are awesome. This is the talent of fire. A talent that others only dream of getting. Yan Tai said with a smile, with a hint of envy in his tone. Teacher, it's just an ordinary flame. Fang Yi said modestly, because the voice in the forbidden area reminded me that my fire control power is related to the strength of my mental power, so I added all 100 points of free attributes to my mental strength. This is Fang Yi's dishonesty. Lai Yan, it's not an ordinary flame. And the reason why Fang Yi wants to reveal the secret of getting Lai Yan is that he feels that sooner or later, this matter cannot be hidden, so it is better to tell it in advance. Because Fang Yi doesn't want to expose the secret of Saitama's physique. If he does amazing things from the forbidden area in the future, he can put the credit on the flame's ability and use the flames to disguise it. Compared with the flame's ability, Saitama's physique is Fang Yi's trump card, the real killer. You did the right thing. Yan Tai looked at Fang Yi with a dazed expression. Supernatural talents are abilities that everyone hopes to obtain. I didn't expect that the little boy in front of me could get it so easily. I really didn't expect that there would be additional rewards for the highest task evaluation. Yantai murmured to himself. Hearing this, Fang Yi quickly said, I heard the voices in the forbidden area say that the chance of additional rewards appearing is very small. I am also lucky. He was vaccinated in advance. What if someone gets the highest task evaluation next time but doesn't get any extra rewards? Wouldn't that mean he is suspected of lying? Now that you have the flame talent, if you get free attributes in the future, you must give priority to adding spirit. Besides. Speaking of this, Yantai looked excited and looked at Fang Yi with burning eyes. With the talent of fire, your current potential is no worse than those with S-class hero talent. Fang Yi, teacher hopes that you will pay more attention to safety in the future and put your own safety first. As long as you are given time, you will definitely become a strong person. Teacher looks forward to this day. Fang Yi nodded seriously after hearing this. He understands this truth. Geniuses who can grow up are called strong. Those who die midway are just a tragedy. Take the initiative to tell the flame talent. Fang Yi had two considerations. First of all, it is naturally Fang Yi's positioning of himself. In this world, there are many people with special abilities who are good at long-range attacks, and they are called masters. It means the mage. Fang Yi positions himself on the surface as Master Fa. From now on, if he encounters a team fight, he can just hide behind and throw fire fists at the enemy. This is both safe and confusing. If someone is really blind and thinks he is a real master and wants to fight him in close combat, haha, his Saitama physique will tell the enemy that this society has many tricks. Second, appropriate exposure of his flame powers can also make the school take him more seriously. Just look at Yantai's expression now. Correct. Yantai, who was next to him, suddenly said, tomorrow, the higher-ups will send people from the test team. Remember to behave well. Who is the test group? Fang Yi asked. Yantai explained. It's specifically to test how much power you, the newcomers, gained after passing the number 2 forbidden land this time, and then give a strength evaluation based on your strength. The higher the strength evaluation, the more benefits. Fang Yi became interested. What are the benefits? Regarding Fang Yi, Yantai appeared to be very patient and replied, under normal circumstances, monetary rewards will be given, such as a fixed allowance every month, but a potential talent like you will not only get money. There are also some privileges, such as one-time immunity. Immunity refers to the right of exemption that you can use only once when you are criminally responsible after triggering the law. As long as you are not killing people indiscriminately or causing bad effects in the downtown area, you can use your immunity to absolve yourself of one crime. You can even use immunity to absolve others of a crime. Hearing Yantai's explanation, Fang Yi was a little confused. Criminal immunity. Although it is only once, it is too lawless. It is indeed a privilege. Fang Yi knew without guessing that when immunity appeared, he must have suffered huge criticism, which made him ordinary people or strongly dissatisfied. The country has gone to great lengths to win over the strong. Fang Yi asked a key question. There is no free lunch in the world. If someone really uses their privileges, the country will definitely pay off after paying so much. Bar. Yantai smiled and said, yes, after using your privileges, although you can be exempted from crime, you still have to join a special department. It is nothing at ordinary times, but when the country is in crisis, you must respond to the government's call in a timely manner, otherwise you will be subject to law enforcement, the team's pursuit. The law enforcement team is composed of strong men. Fang Yi nodded, as if he expected it. At this time, the two of them had already walked outside the dormitory door. You go up and rest early, I won't send you up. Yantai stopped and said, thank you teacher for clarifying my doubts. Fang Yi thanked him and went back to the dormitory. Yantai didn't turn around until he couldn't see Fang Yi's back. He didn't go back to his teacher's dormitory, but hurried back to the principal's office, and Fang Yi got the flame. I informed the principal about the talent. As expected, after hearing this, the principal became even more excited and paid more attention to Fang Yi. As for Fang Yi, after returning to the dormitory, he was immediately pestered by several roommates. It was nothing more than wanting to please him, hoping that when you have difficulties in the future, you can help him for the sake of your roommate. Fang Yi managed to get rid of his roommate with a few words, but he was thinking in his heart that he would ask Lao Yan tomorrow to see if he could give him some help. He moved to a single dormitory and lived alone. Otherwise, it would be really awkward to be looked at by his roommates all the time. Then, Fang Yi chose to fall asleep. Poor girl, she was still waiting for him to call, but I didn't believe it until midnight. The next day, 9 in the morning, all the freshmen were gathered on the playground again to summarize their trip to the number 2 Forbidden Land. First, the principal came on stage, praised Fang Yi and Su Zicho emphatically, said some words of encouragement to everyone, and then gave the playground to the test group. On the playground, freshmen from 3 classes were arranged into 3 teams and were undergoing a strength test. A female teacher came to the stage with a list. Whoever's name I read out later will come up for the test. You have to move quickly. Do you understand? Understood. The students responded loudly. Everyone looked a little nervous. Those who were confident were naturally full of expectations. Those who did not perform well in the number 2 forbidden area were uneasy. Then, the test began. Li Zijian. The teacher read out a name. A sturdy boy quickly ran onto the stage. The person in charge of the test asked, "Which attribute did you get the attribute point reward for in the number 2 forbidden area?" All strengthened, Li Zijian said. After hearing this, the person in charge of the test took Li Zijian to a boxing strength testing machine and started testing his strength directly. Bang! Li Zijian punched the punching strength testing machine. Suddenly, the electronic numbers on the machine's screen changed rapidly, and finally stayed on 359. As soon as this number came out, there were many exclamations from the audience. It's actually 359. Did Li Zijian eat explosives today? Bull. This achievement is at least 3 times the strength of a normal person, right? Punch strength testing machine. It is a machine invented in this world to detect strength. A normal person's full punch will have a value of about 100, and a stronger punch can reach 200. For example, Li Zijian can punch 359, he is already at the level of a strong man. This is the magic of the Forbidden Land. It can turn an ordinary person into a strong man very quickly. Fang Yi had a curious look on his face when he heard the comments coming from his ears. I don't know, if I punch with all my strength now, how many values can I get? It feels like it will blow up the machine directly. Fang Yi thought secretly. Over there, after the testers determined that Li Zijian had no other abilities, they stamped an E-level stamp on Li Zijian's file. In this world, the official has made clear classifications for personal strength, which are E ideographic, D ideographic, C ideographic, B ideographic, A ideographic, S. S level belongs to the top masters. The E level means that Li Zijian has just left the range of ordinary people. With the report in hand, you can go to the city government to receive the E-level strength medal. From now on, you can receive a monthly allowance of 500 yuan. After hearing this, Li Zijian stepped down with excitement. Although the 500 yuan allowance is not much and is considered dispensable, having a medal of strength is definitely an honor for people in this world. You will be respected and envied wherever you go. Next, Lu Ya. His punching power is 226. Not promoted. If you are not classified, you are not out of the range of normal people, not even E-class. When he heard that he was not classified, the student named Lu Ya immediately left dejectedly. Wang Ping. Boxing power value is 255. Not classified. Sun Yonghao. Boxing power value 403. Comprehensive strength evaluation. E-level. Li Yuan has a boxing strength value of 337, a running speed of 100 meters in 8 seconds, and an overall strength rating of E-level. Lu Yang. Boxing power value is 391. Comprehensive strength evaluation. E-level. Fang Yi discovered. Almost every new student in Wusheng Academy chooses to increase their attributes in Forbidden Area number 2, which is strength. Only a few timid people will add some agility attributes. When escaping, you can run faster. This is actually normal. In the absence of supernatural talents, choosing to increase strength in the early stage is the fastest way for ordinary people to improve their strength. If you were at Wusheng Academy, this would definitely not be the case. The students at Wusheng Academy all have heroic talents. They have many more options to choose from in the early stage than ordinary people. While Fang Yi was thinking about it, the teachers who came to watch were already full of disappointment. This freshman class is not good. We have tested dozens of people and there is not even one with D-level strength. Yes, well, it's really not as good as one session. Many teachers sighed. Contrary to the teacher, the senior students were gloating about their misfortune. Haha, these rookies are just scum. They are all E-level. I really don't know how they get along in the forbidden area. No. 2. The zombies in the forbidden area number 2 are so stupid. If you kill a few hundred at will, you can at least achieve D-level strength, right? Send me to the forbidden area number 2 now. I can kill everything. Unfortunately, everyone can only go to the forbidden area once. You can pull it down. Have you forgotten that when you saw a zombie, you were so scared that you peed your pants? Labor and management saved you. My dear brother, can you please stop mentioning this? But this freshman class is really not good, it's so bad. I heard last night that there is a powerful person in this freshman class. I don't know who it is. Real or fake, how powerful can it be? You'll know after reading it. Many seniors and seniors were lying on the windows, watching the performance of the freshmen and talking about it. About Fang Yi and Su Zaichou, less than a day has passed and it has not spread in the school yet. Only a few people know about it. Next, Su Zaichou. When they heard Su Zaichou's name, many freshmen were shocked. This girl is pretty and has a great figure. This appearance can at least rank among the top 3 in the school. Didn't expect that among the freshmen, there would be such a perfect person. I'm attracted to it, no one can argue with me. Tisk, it's yours if you like it. Do you understand fair competition? Seeing Su Zaichou take the stage, the senior animals were immediately excited. But the reason why they were excited was because of Su Zaichou's appearance. What the new people are paying attention to is the evaluation of Su Zaichou's strength. As classmates who participated in the Forbidden Area adventure together, they all knew that Su Zaichou's mission evaluation was very good. I just don't know, what is the evaluation of strength? With Su Zaichou coming to power. Everyone is watching carefully. The tester came over and asked, "Hello, classmate, to which attributes are the attributes you obtained in Forbidden Land number 2 allocated?" Su Zaichou said truthfully, "They are mental attributes, strength attributes, and agility attributes. Among them, the strength attribute accounts for the most, about half, and the remaining half is divided equally between the mental attribute and the agility attribute." This is indeed Su Zaichou's way of adding points. Ordinary people don't have an attribute panel, but they can choose to add points. Su Zaichou positioned himself as an archer in his early career. Adding spiritual attributes can strengthen the brain, increase people's willpower and concentration, and at the same time improve the sensitivity of people's 5 senses and 6 senses. Archers need to shoot accurately and need a strong spirit. And adding strength naturally means increasing body strength. Strength is equally important to archers. If you don't have the strength, you can't even draw the bow, how can you shoot arrows? As for agility, Su Zaichou felt that speed was also very important for an archer. If nothing else, at least you can improve your life-saving ability, run faster when you encounter danger. The tester was obviously stunned when he heard that Su Zaichou added some points in such a balanced way. "Classmate, do you have any talents?" The tester couldn't help but ask. Generally, those who add attribute points like Su Zaichou do it to match their natural abilities. Su Zaichou shook his head and said, "I am a loser in the hero fit and have no natural abilities. However, I have been shooting arrows since elementary school. The current archery level is A-level." Hearing this, the tester was very surprised. A-level archery. He is already the highest level archer and a true master level figure. "Test your strength first," the tester said. Su Zaichou nodded, came to the boxing strength testing machine, made a show fist, and punched out. Although she was soft and weak, she looked like a delicate beauty. But with the increase in strength, she fist, the impact is not small. When the number 522 inches appeared on the boxing strength testing machine, everyone was shocked. The tester was even more surprised. According to Su Zaichou, her strength attribute increased in the number 2 forbidden area. It only accounts for half of her rewards. Half of them are so strong. So what are her total rewards? Classmate, What kind of evaluation did you get in the forbidden area? No. 2. The tester couldn't help but ask. Su Zaicho said truthfully. Red. Hiss. The tester was shocked. He did not dare to neglect and continued to let Su Zaicho test his running speed. He even found a bow and arrow and a target to test Su Zaicho's shooting ability and destructive power. After all the test results came out, the tester gave Su Zaicho D+ level strength evaluation. This is close to C level strength evaluation. There is a fixed set of standards for the evaluation of strength, and testers cannot evaluate it based on their own judgment. Once someone is dissatisfied with the tester's evaluation, they can file a complaint. Then the tester will definitely be in bad luck. Therefore, when each tester gives a strength assessment, he will strictly follow the standards. When this evaluation came out, many students were shocked. Needless to say about the freshman. After seeing Su Zaicho's evaluation of his strength, he felt not only envious but also ashamed of himself. No one was dissatisfied, because the freshman knew that Su Zaicho's mission evaluation in the forbidden area number 2 was red. The old students were all shocked by Su Zaicho's performance. D grade, or D+. That's right, I must be right. Didn't you see that the target we just gave this girl for archery was a steel plate? Being able to shoot through a steel plate with one arrow and hit the center of the target, such accuracy and destructive power deserve such an evaluation of strength. Unexpectedly, this girl is not only pretty, but also strong. He only participated in the forbidden area once and already has D+ level strength. This is very rare in the history of our school, right? I'm sure that the mission evaluation this girl got in the number 2 forbidden area must be very high. Haha, the girl I like is indeed excellent. Old Chen, I just heard you say that there is a powerful person in this freshman class, and she should be this girl, right? Probably, but what I heard seems to be a boy. In the midst of everyone's discussion, the test continues. After Su Zaicho stepped down, many students with E-level strength evaluations appeared one after another, and there were also many students who were not graded. 10 minutes later, the teacher shouted, "Next, Fang Yi." Chapter 31. Hear your own name. Fang Yi walked onto the stage calmly. He could feel that many people were watching him. But Fang Yi didn't take it to heart. Just watch it, can there be any less meat? When we came to the stage, the tester asked, "Classmate, what attributes are added to the rewards you got in Forbidden Land?" No. 2. All mental attributes are added. Fang Yi said. These words made the tester stunned. All mental attributes added. Under normal circumstances, there is only one possibility for choosing this kind of addition. That is to have supernatural talents. Classmate, do you have any special talents? The tester asked. Fang Yi nodded and said, yes. Oh, what kind of supernatural talent? Can you show it to me? The tester asked curiously. Sure. After the words fell, Fang Yi raised his right hand and thought. Puff! A ball of blazing flames burned directly from his hand. The tester was startled first. Then, he was stunned. Not just the tester, but everyone in the audience, including those watching the excitement in the teaching building in the distance. The old students were all stunned. The entire playground was silent and silent. Everyone was very shocked. It's not that the talent with supernatural powers is rare. But, those with talents with supernatural powers, it shouldn't appear in a pheasant university. If it were Wushan College, there would never be so many people shocked. How does he have the talent for fire? Could it be that the task he completed was the most difficult task 3? The freshmen were all shocked. The same was true for the old students. Most of them had been to the Forbidden Land many times and had never obtained any supernatural talents, for a while. The playground was in a mess, and there were voices of discussion everywhere. Everyone, be quiet. At the critical moment, the dean stood up, took the microphone to the high platform, and announced to everyone. Fang Yi, in the Forbidden Area number 2, did not choose the most difficult task 3. Like everyone else, he chose task 1. However, Fang Yi showed us a miracle. That is, if you can get the highest task evaluation, there is a certain chance that you will be able to obtain supernatural talents. Everyone should work hard and follow the example of Fang Yi. Hearing this, everyone was surprised. If you get the highest task evaluation, you still have a chance to get additional talent rewards. Is this really the case? There is no way to verify this. Because, currently, those who have received the highest task rewards, there is only Fang Yi. Of course, what he says is what it is. However, the words of the dean have also successfully inspired many people. This is tantamount to telling everyone that as long as they work hard, ordinary people may not be better than those who have the ability. People with heroic talents are weak. Many people's eyes lit up when they thought of this. In the audience, Su Zaichou looked at Fang Yi on the stage, her surprise slowly subsided, and soon she showed a bright smile. She felt sincerely for Fang Yi is happy. Teacher, can you continue the test? On the stage, Fang Yi asked somewhat boredly. Okay. The tester said quickly, and then said, since you have supernatural talents, let's directly test your destructive power. Then, the tester found a puppet target for Fang Yi, and Fang Yi said, use your ability to attack it with all your strength. Fang Yi nodded, aimed at the target, and struck out with a fire fist move. Raging flames flew out from his fists, hitting the target directly like a Scud missile. Boom! A ball of flame exploded. In the explosion, the puppet target instantly fell into pieces, and the remains that remained in place were still sizzling and continuing to burn. This power shocked everyone present, including the tester member. The whole audience was shocked. Very quickly, the tester gave Fang Yi a C level rating. I just experienced the number 2 forbidden area. The overall strength has reached C level. Even the freshmen in the martial arts academy, the proud ones, cannot easily reach that level in the same period. Only those who can successfully integrate the talents of S-class heroes can compete with each other. Student Fang Yi, this is proof of your strength. You can use it to go to the city hall and exchange it for a strength medal. Moreover, C-level superpower talents will have a monthly allowance of 3,000 yuan, as well as other preferential treatment. In addition, this is my business card with my number on it. If Fang Yi doesn't understand anything, you can always come to me. The test looked at Fang Yi and showed a flattering smile. He was indeed trying to please Fang Yi. Because it is foreseeable that as long as Fang Yi does not fall halfway, he will definitely be a famous and strong man in the future. If he can be with Fang Yi now. If you build a good relationship with the industry, there will definitely be many benefits in the future. Fang Yi smiled, said, thank you, politely, and took everything from the tester's hand. He also took the tester's business card. With so many people around, if you don't even accept people's business cards, it would be too disrespectful. Fang Yi is not so arrogant. It's this guy. I heard last night that this guy got the highest mission rating in the number 2 forbidden area. I didn't expect it to be true. I think what you didn't expect is that the highest task evaluation also comes with additional talent rewards, right? Yes, I don't know how this kid did it. Are the newcomers so good now? It's a C level rating. As long as nothing happens to this kid, he will definitely have a bright future. Boss, do you want to drag this kid into our student union? Such talents can definitely be promoted out of the ordinary. Don't forget that girl who was very good at archery before, she is also qualified to join our student union. Snort, I think you, kid, are you a drunkard and not in the bar? Hehe, the boss still understands me. Several senior students were discussing while looking at the freshmen on the playground. In the blink of an eye, it was already 3 days later. During these 3 days, Fang Yi experienced many harassment incidents. Almost every hour, a call would come in, inviting him to go to a better school for further studies. Fang Yi didn't know how his number was leaked. He was so annoyed by these calls that he finally turned off his phone to avoid it. Today, it's the day when a new course starts. That is to say, starting from today, the teachers will teach them the relevant content of Forbidden Land No. 3. To this, Fang Yi was looking forward to it. He has heard for a long time that there are zombies in the Forbidden Area No. 3. I just don't know if it's the world of a certain work in his memory. 9 o'clock in the morning. All students are in the classroom, waiting for class. It was still Professor Zhou who taught them. Jingle bell. As the class bell rang, Professor Zhou walked into the classroom holding a pile of textbooks. Monitor, please distribute the textbook to everyone. After hearing this, class monitor Su Zaichou took the textbooks and distributed them to the students one by one. When giving them to Fang Yi, Su Zaichou's eyes obviously became a little different, as if very angry. She was indeed angry with Fang Yi. This guy, I clearly gave him my contact information. But 3 days have passed, and there is not a single phone call. Not even a text message. The majestic beauty Su feels ignored for the first time. Boom. Su Zaichou slammed the textbook in his hand on Fang Yi's desk, and then glared at Fang Yi fiercely before continuing. Fang Yi was a little confused. When the textbook arrived, Fang Yi quickly Su Zaichou forgot about it and couldn't wait to open the textbook and start studying. On the first page of the textbook, there was also a painting. In the painting, there was a terrifying humanoid monster with a green face and fangs, and a ferocious face. He was also wearing the official uniform of the Qing dynasty. It looks very simple and simple. It's a zombie. Seeing this portrait of a zombie, Fang Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. He felt that this zombie looked familiar. Wait until all textbooks are distributed. Professor Zhou said. Old rule, don't lose or damage textbooks. After you break through the forbidden area number 3, you have to recycle them. Did you hear that? The students said one after another. I heard it. Then start the class. Professor Zhou cleared his throat and said, about the forbidden area number 3, it is a world of ghosts and monsters, with zombies and female ghosts in it. Compared with the zombies in the forbidden area number 2, the ghosts in the forbidden area number 3 are very dangerous. It's more dangerous than the lickers in the forbidden area no. 2. You must be careful. It's best to go in a team. Next, let me tell you about the characteristics of zombies. Everyone, open the first page of the textbook. Zombies are originally mythical creatures. In folklore, they refer to ghosts that become ghosts after death due to excessive yin energy in the body. They are inhumane and irrational and feed on blood. All the students were listening carefully. Many of the timid ones turned pale with fright. Just from Professor Zhou's dictation, everyone could already feel that zombies were indeed much scarier than zombies. Fang Yi was also listening carefully. Although he is familiar with the plot, it will not hurt him to hear more information. Be prepared. Professor Zhou gave a very detailed introduction. After finishing all the information he learned about zombies and female ghosts, he continued. The world background of Forbidden Land number 3 is equivalent to the last century of our world. It has just been liberated from the feudal dynasty, and industrial civilization is still very backward. The story takes place in a place called Renjia Town. The Ren family is the largest powerful family in the town, and the first zombie that appears as an ancestor of the Ren family, Mr. Ren. Hearing these words, Fang Yi's eyes suddenly lit up. Renjiajun, Mr. Ren. He was extremely familiar with these two keywords. It is from the movie world of Mr. Zombie. Fang Yi is now certain. Forbidden Area No. 3. This is the world of Mr. Zombie. It's not that Fang Yi is one-sided and decisive. In his previous life on Earth, Mr. Zombie is a very classic zombie movie. The zombies inside were still one of the sources of nightmares for Fang Yi when he was a child. Therefore, Fang Yi was very impressed by Mr. Zombie. Ren Jiajun and Mrs. Ren are also unforgettable words for Fang Yi on the podium. Professor Zhou's voice continued. There are 2 tasks you can choose from in Forbidden Land No. 3. Divided into easy and difficult. The simpler task is to protect Renjia town for a month. Within this month, as long as the death rate of the townspeople does not exceed 30%, the mission will be considered completed. The difficult task is to kill zombies. The more you kill, the higher the mission rating. It is recommended that you choose a simpler mission, because the zombies in the Forbidden Area number 3 are very powerful. You are not able to deal with them easily now, let alone kill the zombies with your own hands. As for simpler tasks, although the rewards are not much, they are better than safety. A classmate discovered the flaw in Professor Zhou's sentence and immediately raised his hand to ask. Professor, since the zombies in Forbidden Area number 3 are so powerful, why are they still ranked number 3? Can't we wait in line to kill zombies when we are stronger? Looking at the student who asked the question, Professor Zhou smiled and said, it's great that you have such an idea. Regarding the question you raised, of course the country has already considered it. The reason why the number 3 forbidden area is ranked at your current stage is because the subsequent forbidden areas are far more dangerous than the number 3 forbidden area. If you can't even complete the mission in the forbidden area number 3, then the hope of survival in the forbidden areas behind will be even slimmer. The order in which the country arranges the forbidden areas is carefully considered and will certainly not be arranged randomly. Speaking of which, I have to say a few more words. In order to explore the dangers in these forbidden areas, the country has sacrificed countless martyrs before gaining the current experience, allowing you to enter the forbidden areas more easily. I hope you can work hard, become strong, and serve our motherland as soon as possible. Hearing Professor Joe's words, the student who just asked the question sat down with shame on his face. Continue class, Professor Joe said. After entering the forbidden area, you will appear in Renjia town. In order to help you integrate into the local environment as soon as possible, the school has prepared clothes for you that match that era. If you encounter danger in the forbidden area, you can go to Yizhuang to ask for help from a Taoist named Uncle Ju. Everyone, turn to the third page of the textbook. This is the portrait of the Taoist. Taoist Master Ju Shu is very powerful in Kung Fu, and he is also good at subjugating demons. He also has a chivalrous heart. Whenever he hears zombies causing trouble, he will definitely take action. Yizhuang, as the saying goes in the Forbidden Area number 3, is actually the place where corpses are collected. If you don't know the way, just ask the locals to find out. Listen to the lesson. In Fang Yi's mind, the plan for the mission has been initially determined. Once the plan is completed, you will definitely get a high task rating. However, people in this world have a high degree of exploration into the plot of the world of Mr. Zombie. There's nothing we can do about it. Open double angle bracket. The plot of the world of Mr. Zombie is too simple and only takes place in a small town, making it easy to explore. Fang Yi felt that the plan he thought of must be thought of by someone else. Even so, Fang Yi is still determined to implement his plan. If you really want to meet a peer, it depends on who can start faster. For the implementation of the plan, Fang Yi also needs an assistant. He glanced around the classroom and quickly determined the candidate for his assistant. Jingle bell. The bell rang for the end of class. Professor Joe did not waste everyone's rest time and left happily. As soon as he left, the students immediately started talking about the number 3 forbidden area with their close friends. Zaicho, have you decided what mission to choose? Several girls came to Su Zaicho's side and said slightly flatteringly, "Can you please take us with you?" Su Zaicho was stunned, glanced at the girls in the same dormitory, shook his head and said, "I haven't thought about it yet." A girl suggested, "Why don't you choose simple tasks like us?" Su Zaicho also had this idea. Through Professor Joe's explanation just now, Su Zaicho knew that zombies are very powerful, not only extremely powerful but also invulnerable. Her archery skills are probably useless against zombies. Simple tasks are more suitable for her. When the time comes, we can ask Uncle Ju for help, and we can stop the zombies from killing people in Renjia town. However, Su Zaicho is not an impulsive person. She thought for a while and said, "It's better to wait until I think about it before making a decision." It wasn't just Su Zaicho who was wanted to hug her thigh. Fang Yi's thighs are thicker, and more people want to curry favor with him, hoping to be able to take care of him in the forbidden area. No. 3. Fang Yi refused them all without hesitation. He is not afraid of offending people and being isolated by the students. After all, this world is a world where strength is valued, which is different from the earth in the previous life. As long as you have strength, you don't have to worry about others targeting you. Amid the fawning and unhappy looks, Fang Yi packed up his textbooks, turned around and left the classroom. He did not return to the dormitory, but took out his mobile phone, found Su Zaicho's number, and sent a text message to Su Zaicho. "I have something to discuss with you. I'll wait for you in the woods." Su Zaicho is talking to his classmates. The phone suddenly vibrated. She opened her phone and saw the message Fang Yi sent her. "If you have something to discuss, I'll wait for you in the woods." When Su Zaicho saw the message from Fang Yi, his first thought was that he was happy. This guy finally took the initiative to ask her out. But soon, Su Zaicho changed his face again and became very angry. He mustered up the courage to leave a note. Wow, this guy actually took so long to come to her. His attitude is really inappropriate. Or how to put it. Women's hearts, where are the sea needles? You will never guess what thoughts are in their minds. Anger is anger. Su Zaicho still chose to go to the appointment. It's rare that that guy has enlightened himself and knows how to take the initiative to ask her out. If he plays a trick and scares the guy away, that will be bad. Zaicho, who sent you the message? How do you look at your face? Sometimes you are happy and sometimes you are angry. A girl asked curiously. Su Zaicho put the phone away and said, nothing. I have something to go out and we'll talk later. Okay, if you have something to do, go ahead and do it. Su Zaicho stood up and walked out of the classroom. She went directly to the grove and saw Fang Yi at a glance. Mainly because it was noon, and few people came to the grove for dates. Usually, they only came to the grove at night. Fang Yi, Su. Zaicho came to Fang Yi and said proudly, you said you have something to discuss with me. What is it? Fang Yi smiled and said, regarding the mission in Forbidden Land number 3, I want you to join me and choose the difficult zombie killing mission. Su Zaicho was stunned. Do you already have a plan? There is indeed a plan. Can you tell me about it? Certainly. Fang Yi then explained his plan in general. He was not afraid that Su Zaicho would leak the secret. Because the feasibility of this plan is based on strong strength. Even if other students want to play, they can't afford it. Wait, after Fang Yi finished talking about his plan, Su Zaicho was dumbfounded. It was really Fang Yi's plan, very bold. Fang Yi, zombies are very powerful. Professor Zhou said that an ordinary zombie might be close to sea-level strength. Are you sure about your plan? Su Zaicho couldn't help but ask. Fang Yi smiled and said, even if my plan doesn't succeed, I'm still very sure of completing the basic tasks. Seeing that Su Zaicho was still hesitating, Fang Yi said, you think about it first, and then give me an answer when you think about it clearly. Throwing these words, Fang Yi turned around and left. It's already noon. If you don't go to the canteen, there will be no food. Su Zaicho looked at Fang Yi's leaving back and gritted his teeth in anger. This idiot, she made an appointment, said these 2 words and then ran away. He is really a straight man. But Su Zaicho has an unyielding spirit. The more straight Fang Yi is, the more unconvinced she is. In the forbidden area number 2, he flirted with her want to run away immediately. How can it be so easy? When Su Zaicho also came to the cafeteria, he happened to see Fang Yi eating a big meal. These days, Fang Yi has not been idle and is still exercising. Huge consumption, which made his appetite become very big. One person must eat at least the amount for 2 people. Many people gave him the nickname, Foodie, behind his back. At this moment, seeing Fang Yi eating so deliciously, Su Zaicho felt that the nickname Foodie really suited this wooden person. She first went to get a meal, and then carrying a tray, she came to sit across from Fang Yi's table without hesitation. Seeing Fang Yi stunned, looking at himself, Su Zaicho said coldly, I agree to your plan. Fang Yi smiled slightly, okay. At the same time, far away in the Martial Arts Academy in Jingmen City, several talented new students were discussing the mission of the number 3 forbidden area in a private room of a high-end restaurant. There are a total of 5 of these geniuses, all of whom are successful heroes and have heroic talents. The leader carries a long sword even when eating. This person is a successful match for the S-class hero, Atomic Samurai. He has superb swordsmanship and his unique skill, Atomic Slash, which is already broken. Last time in the Forbidden Area number 2, he was one of the few characters in the Martial Arts Academy who received a red rating. Boss Liu, why did you call us here? A strong man asked. The boss Liu in his mouth was the leader of this table, a man who never left his body with a sword. Boss Liu did not try to be mysterious and said, I called you here because I want you to stay in the Forbidden Area No. 3. Cooperate with me and help me complete a mission plan. Once this plan is successful, each of you will be able to get a red mission evaluation. As soon as these words came out, it immediately attracted the interest of the 4 people. Oh, what's the plan? Boss Liu, can you elaborate? Boss Liu told him his plan. If Su Zaicho were here, he would definitely be surprised. Because the plan mentioned by Boss Liu is almost the same as Fang Yi's plan. The 2 of them thought of it together. Fang Yi guessed that's right. After the plot of the world of Mr. Zombie is explored, someone will definitely think of using that plan. When Boss Liu finished talking about the plan, there was a brief silence in the box. Each of them was shocked by this bold and bottomless plan. This plan is too crazy, right? A handsome young man first exclaimed and then said, however, it is indeed somewhat feasible. The other person frowned and said doubtfully, why do I feel like I have heard of similar cases? Boss Lu said calmly, this plan was indeed used by someone, but he failed and ended badly. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. Among the five, the only girl asked, so, Boss Lu, how sure are you? The instructor also said that zombies are very powerful and invulnerable. Your sword may not be able to break through the zombies' defense. Moreover, in your plan, the zombies will evolve. When the time comes, we will not be a match for the zombies if we join forces. Hearing this, Boss Lu said, since I dare to propose this plan, of course I have a complete plan. In fact, this plan was not proposed by me, but by that guy Zhao Fusheng. When the time comes, he will also be with us. Hearing the name, Zhao Fusheng, the faces of several people in the box changed slightly. When someone said, if Zhao Fusheng also goes, then the success rate of this plan is indeed very high. I agree. I agree. Count me in. Now that you've all said that, what else can I say? Boss Lu, next time I'm in the forbidden area no. 3, I'll ask you to take care of me, little sister. Everyone expressed their agreement. Next, several people chatted while eating. The atmosphere at the table became very harmonious. Correct. Suddenly, the girl said, I don't know if you have heard, but there is a famous figure in the Martial Saint Academy of Pheasant University recently. Someone answered. Mengshu girl's name, the person you are talking about is the boy who got the highest mission rating in the Forbidden Area number 2 last time, right? The girl named Mengshu immediately said, yes, it's him. This guy not only received the highest mission evaluation, but also received the Flame Talent. When testing his strength, he directly received AC level strength evaluation. He was hailed as the seed of a strong man, and is now treated as a treasure by Wusheng Academy. After hearing these words, several people present looked a little unhappy. They are all the proud sons of heaven, and of course they don't want a freshman from Pheasant University to surpass them. Snort, he's just a lucky guy. Someone snorted coldly. At this time, Boss Lu suddenly spoke and revealed a surprising secret. Teacher Wang Liang, he came to me in private and hoped that this time in the Forbidden Area number 3, we would take action to kill Wu Sheng. That guy from the college also has a girl named Su Zaichou. What? Several people were surprised when they heard this. On the one hand, Instructor Wang Liang seemed to be a very decent person in their eyes. They didn't expect that he would be so sinister and come up with such a desperate plan against Wusheng Academy. He was so cruel. On the other hand, the state explicitly prohibits private fights between students. Once discovered, they will be severely fined. Of course, they all have one-time immunity and are not afraid of breaking the law. But immunity is very precious, and unless they have no choice, they don't want to use it. I'm just a student at Pheasant University. There's no need for the instructor to be so cruel, right? I can't believe that teacher Wang Liang, who seems to be such a decent person, how could he? Does the instructor have any grudge against the Martial Saint Academy? This is too, that stuff. A few people spoke one after another. While they felt unbelievable, they also felt that what teacher Wang Liang did was a bit too much. Pheasant University finally produced a talent, so just suppress it, there is no need to kill them all. I don't know what grudges there are between the instructor and Wusheng Academy. Lu Feng said. However, I have already agreed. Hearing this, several people were dumbfounded again. Why? Some people don't understand what Lu Feng is thinking. Lu Feng said calmly, because my mentor promised me that when the matter is completed, he will give me the petals of the blood orchid, and everyone will have a share. Blood orchid, from Anaconda. Its petals have magical effects and can improve a lot of mental power after being eaten. Although each person can only eat it once, it is still a very precious thing. On the black market, a blood orchid petal is worth millions. It is still priceless, because the forbidden area of Anaconda disaster is not open to the public. It is in the hands of a mysterious organization. No one can enter it. I heard that there is blood orchid reward. The 4 people in the box were stagnant. Then, no one raised any objections. Lu Feng said again, if in the forbidden area number 3, you meet those two people from the Martial Saint Academy, who are talented in flames. Leave it to me, boy. You go deal with that girl. No problem. This time, just think of it as helping Wang Liang's mentor. That's right. It's better to kill these two people in advance to avoid causing trouble for us during the freshman competition. A few people said one after another. With enough benefits, these people can change their faces faster than flipping through a book. Fang Yi doesn't know yet. Someone is planning his life. He didn't have class in the afternoon, so he went to exercise again. Now the attributes have increased dramatically, and if I practice those sports 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10 kilometers of long-distance running every day, I have become more comfortable and relaxed. The attributes are increasing every day. Fang Yi also tried to decide whether to increase the amount of exercise. However, he found that even if he doubled the amount of exercise, the final increase in attributes was still about the same as usual. It seems that Saitama's training method cannot be changed. In the end, Fang Yi did not bother. Okay, just finish those exercise projects honestly every day. In the blink of an eye. Another month has passed. During this month, Fang Yi continued to exercise every day, and his strength increased a lot again. Name: Fang Yi. Race: human. Physique: 419. Spirit: 142. Strength: 418. Agility: 407. Bloodline: Saitama. Physique already awakening. Super talent: flame. This is Fang Yi's current attribute. Fang Yi tried secretly. With one punch now, he can blow up a hillside. He already has a bit of the demeanor of a bald devil. Also, as his physique increased, Fang Yi's vitality and defense also increased significantly. If Fang Yi's body couldn't defend against larger caliber rifle bullets before, now it is absolutely no problem. It is truly invulnerable, unless it's a super large caliber sniper rifle like the Barrett M82A1, which Fang Yi can't stop. Fang Yi is now immune to ordinary gun bullets. Barrett is so powerful that he can even penetrate armored vehicles. In terms of speed, Fang Yi has also improved a lot. Now he runs the 100-meter race in only 3.22 seconds. Starting as fast as a supercar. Today, it's the day to go to the Forbidden Area No. 3. At 7 o'clock in the morning, everyone gathered on the playground, and then led by tactics teacher Yan Tai to the locker room. In the dressing room, there are many clothes from the Republic of China period. These clothes are all made according to the characteristics of the era in Forbidden Land No. 3. Please choose something that suits you and wear it. Try not to wear something too flamboyant, and don't choose clothes that affect your movement. Yan Tai warned loudly. The students have already started selecting. In the men's locker room, many boys, remembering Yan Tai's advice, chose ordinary and low-key clothes. Fang Yi did the opposite and chose a white shirt and tuxedo. The clothes look elegant, just like a noble prince in the feudal era. Of course he is not that coquettish, he insists on acting cool. The reason why he is dressed like this is completely for his purpose. In that backward era, those who could wear Western clothes were the upper class. Fang Yi just wanted to borrow some skin to facilitate his work. After choosing the clothes, Fang Yi walked out. Many people looked at him strangely when they saw what he was wearing. This guy Fang Yi is too cool, right? Isn't this guy usually very low-key? Why are you dressed so handsome when you go to a forbidden area? Bad brain. There were whispers from the side. Of course, Fang Yi didn't care about these voices and chose to ignore them. Yan Tai also noticed Fang Yi's clothes and frowned. He wanted to persuade him to say something, but the words stuck in his throat and he still didn't say anything. He believed that Fang Yi must have his own intentions in doing this. It takes a little longer for girls to change clothes. After about a few minutes, the girls came out one by one. Fang Yi noticed that Su Zichou was wearing a simple green flower skirt and a simple short coat. Su Zichou probably wore it like this to facilitate the use of force. Although Su Zichou's current clothes are very tacky and she looks a bit like a village girl from the back, but from the front, it's still hard to hide Su Zichou's beautiful face and slim figure. This is not a village girl. It's the village flower. Have you chosen the clothes? Then leave early, Yan Tai said loudly. The group of people followed Yan Tai and got on the bus. The car started slowly and led everyone to the forbidden area No. 3. On the way, a student couldn't help but asked, "Teacher Yan, why do you go to the forbidden area every time? All have to be separated by a month. Is there any reason here?" Hearing the student's doubts, Yan Tai nodded and said, "There are indeed 2 reasons. First, it is for you to learn the knowledge of the new forbidden area, rest and recharge your batteries. Second, in order to facilitate management, the state has set a rule to set aside 1 day every month to open a forbidden area for you students, so as to prevent some unscrupulous people in society from sneaking into the forbidden area and threatening you." After hearing this, the students suddenly realized. It was also the first time that Fang Yi knew the reason. It can be seen that the country has indeed taken great pains to cultivate talents. In addition, Fang Yi got a message through Yan Tai's words. That is, these forbidden areas are usually open. The zombies in Forbidden Land number 3, like the zombies in Forbidden Land number 2, can infect others. It's just that the zombies have viruses, and the zombies have corpse poison. If you are bitten or scratched by a zombie, you will be infected with corpse poison and then transform into a zombie. Professor Zhou must have told you about this, but I still want to emphasize that you must pay attention to safety. Once you are really infected, go to Yizhuang immediately and find the Taoist priest named Uncle Zhu. He has a way to help you detoxify. In addition, although your enemies are zombies, you must also pay special attention to the female ghost. Zombies are at least visible and tangible. And female ghosts may be even more terrifying to newcomers like you who don't understand Taoism and Dharma, because female ghosts are formless and have no entity. If you want to fight back, you can't. Therefore, after entering the forbidden area, be sure not to go to the wild mountains at night to avoid encountering ghosts. Those ghosts only come out at night and don't dare to come out to harm people during the day. On the bus, Yan Tai was talking tirelessly about the dangers of Forbidden Area No. 3. No one thinks Yan Tai is long-winded. Because everyone can see that although Teacher Yan is usually very strict in training, he really cares about these students. While Yan Tai was vomiting, Fang Yi quietly took out his phone and sent a text message to Su Zaichou. After entering the forbidden area, immediately ask people how to get to Yizhuang. We will meet at Yizhuang. After the text message was sent, Fang Yi put away his phone, leaned back on the chair and closed his eyes to rest. The first step of his plan was to snatch the body of Mr. Ren, who had not fully transformed into a corpse. Originally, it was the best time to snatch it. He should go directly to Mr. Ren's graveyard and dig out Mr. Ren's coffin. Fang Yi is familiar with the plot and it is impossible not to know this. The reason why he decided to go to Yizhuang to rob is because Fang Yi passed this months after listening to the lecture. I found that when they entered the Forbidden Area number 3, the plot had already advanced to the timeline of lifting the coffin and carrying the grave. Mr. Ren's coffin was temporarily stored in Yizhuang. Fang Yi could only go to Yizhuang to snatch it. As for whether he would offend Uncle Zhu, Fang Yi didn't care. In his plan, there was no need to ask Uncle Zhu for help. Su Zaichou, who received the text message, was slightly happy and couldn't help but turn to look at Fang Yi sitting in the back row. I'm not happy to see this guy actually sleeping with his eyes closed. What a big piece of wood. Isn't it okay to send 2 more messages? After thinking about it, Su Zaichou gritted her silver teeth and replied, I know. After replying the message, she immediately turned her head and quietly looked at Fang Yi's reaction. As a result, Fang Yi didn't respond at all. It seems that after sending the message, I didn't bother to care. I didn't even bother to read Su Zaichou's reply message. This made Su Zaichou very angry. Snort. Su Zaichou snorted coldly, turned around and stopped talking to Fang Yi. Zaichou, what's wrong with you? The roommate sitting next to Su Zaichou couldn't help but ask when he saw Su Zaichou's gloomy expression. Su Zaichou immediately smiled at his roommate and said, it's okay. Oh, the roommate asked expectantly. Zichu, can I follow you after entering the forbidden area? This roommate obviously thought that Su Zaichou would also choose a simple task, and was ready to hug Su Zaichou's lap. Su Zaichou said, I'm sorry, Wei Wei, in the forbidden area No. 3, I plan to choose a difficult zombie killing mission. It will be very dangerous for you to follow me. When the roommate named Wei Wei heard this, he was surprised and said, why? Chu, zombies are so scary, you have to think carefully, this is too dangerous. I've decided, Su Zaicho said firmly, although she didn't like Fang Yi's indifference to her. But, on key issues, she would not be so brainless and deliberately act petty to embarrass Fang Yi. A few hours later, near noon, the bus finally arrived at Forbidden Land No. 3. Like the Forbidden Area Number 2, the entrance to the Forbidden Area Number 3 is also controlled by the military. Outside the restricted area number 3, you can see a large number of soldiers standing guard or patrolling, even. Fang Yi also saw several people wearing Taoist uniforms sitting here. One student couldn't help but ask, "Teacher, why are there Taoist priests here?" Yan Tai explained, because the number 3 forbidden area is not very stable. There used to be ghosts running out of the forbidden area to harm people, so there are Taoist priests here, guard. These Taoist priests all have real abilities. These words have opened the eyes of many students. Now everyone understands why the country sends troops to guard the entrance to the forbidden area. If the forbidden area is left unattended, something will come out and harm people. I'm afraid it will happen. There was a big mess. At this time, the car had stopped in the parking lot of the base. Yan Tai said, "Everyone, get off the car and go to the restaurant to have something to eat first. The forbidden area will open at 2 o'clock in the afternoon." Hearing this, the students got out of the car one after another. When they arrived at the restaurant, Fang Yi found that the good seats in the restaurant had been occupied by many students from other schools. Looking at the school uniforms they were wearing, they were from Wushan College. "Lao Yan, you guys came so early too," a gentle voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, Wang Liang, the gentle-looking freshman instructor of Wushan College, appeared in everyone's sight. Seeing Wang Liang, Yan Tai's originally good mood was suddenly completely ruined. "Net. Do I know you well?" Yan Tai said coldly. "After all, we are old classmates. Even if there is a misunderstanding, there is no need to have such deep prejudices, right?" Wang Liang said with a smile, and then said, "You haven't had lunch either, right? How about I ask my students to make room for you?" Fake. Yan Tai turned to the students with a cold face and said, "Let's go to the restaurant behind to eat." The students naturally didn't say anything more and followed Yan Tai and walked inside. Fang Yi saw the confrontation between Yan Tai and Wang Liang and couldn't help but shake his head secretly. Lao Yan was still too upright. Completely. He is no match for the smiling tiger, Wang Liang. Come to think of it, if Lao Yan was more powerful than Wang Liang, he would not be able to sneak into the martial arts academy too. But Wang Liang is the instructor of the martial arts academy and has a bright future. Judging from their positions, Lao Yan is a sure loser. However, if Fang Yi were to choose, Fang Yi would prefer a teacher like Yan Tai. At least, there is no need to worry about being plotted. Looking at Yan Tai's leaving figure, Wang Liang was still smiling, looking very generous. A student from Wushan College next to him couldn't help but said, "Teacher, is this tutor from Wushan College really your classmate? Why is his education so poor?" Wang Liang said with a smile, "When I was young, there were some misunderstandings. My fault." "Then there's no need to keep holding on to it, right?" the student said angrily, as if he felt unworthy of his tutor. Other students also echoed, "That is, teacher, you give him such face, but he still doesn't appreciate it. Does he really think of himself as a person? Snort. If you were really capable, how could you get into Pheasant University? Teacher, you are just too soft-hearted. Why would you keep a classmate like this?" After hearing the student's persuasion, Wang Liang just waved his hands and sighed, "This is the teacher's private matter. The teacher will take care of it. Everyone, please feel free to eat and take a rest after eating. The teacher hopes that you will be here on the 3rd this time. Even in the forbidden area, you can achieve good results." After leaving these words, Wang Liang turned and left. His back looked thin and lonely, which aroused the sympathy and favor of many students. However, there was a table of students who looked at Wang Liang's back with disdain. Lao Wang is so hypocritical. So good at acting. Yes, if it hadn't been for what Boss Lu said before, I'm afraid I would have been deceived by Lao Wang's acting skills. Smiling on the surface, but stabbing in the back, Lao Wang is a ruthless person. These students were discussing in a low voice. They were the same people who were discussing how to kill Fang Yi in the box last time. Lu Feng frowned and said, "Don't say a few words, anyway. Our teachers just need to know it in their own minds." After hearing this, several people stopped talking. The girl named Meng Shu asked, "Boss Lu, where is Zhao Fusheng? Why didn't you see anyone else?" "He is training and will meet at 2 o'clock. Lu Feng said calmly. After hearing this, several people were a little surprised. At this critical moment, there is still mental training. Sharp. No wonder someone's overall strength evaluation is C+. This kind of willpower is not comparable to ordinary people. Yes, what a scary guy. 2 p.m. All students gathered at the entrance to Forbidden Area No. 3. There are 5 schools in total here today. Those schools that are far away cannot catch up with today's batch and will enter Forbidden Area number 3 at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. After all, the location of Forbidden Area number 3 is a bit off, close to the border defense line. For those schools in the rear areas, it takes a lot of time to get there. Time's up, get ready to enter the Forbidden Area, an officer said loudly. With the experience of entering the Forbidden Area last time, everyone consciously lined up and entered the Forbidden Area one by one. Soon, it was Fang Yi's turn. Fang Yi looked calm and stepped in without hesitation. The next moment, he came to a white space. "Please select your task." A beep appears. Immediately afterwards, 2 mission options appeared in front of Fang Yi. Mission 1. Protect the citizens of Renjia Town. Mission difficulty: easy. Task time: 30 days. Tip: there are 100,000 people in Renjia Town. When the number of deaths exceeds 30,000, the mission will be judged to have failed. Failure penalty: permanently trapped in the current world. Tip: based on personal performance, the better the performance, the higher the task evaluation you will receive. Mission 2. Kill zombies. Mission difficulty: hard. Task time: 30 days. Tip: kill at least 1 zombie within the mission time. The more zombies you kill, the higher the mission rating will be. Warning: mission failed, erased. Looking at the 2 mission options, Fang Yi ignored the red warning of Mission 2 and chose Mission 2 directly. Since it's called a forbidden area, it's certainly not child's play. There was a flash of white light. When Fang Yi regained his sight again, he found himself in a narrow alley. Dirty water flowed across the alley, exuding an unpleasant stench, which made Fang Yi frown. He looked at the people coming and going outside the alley. Most of these people have Asian faces and wear long gowns in the style of the Republic of China. Occasionally, there are people wearing Western clothes who pass by on rickshaws. Afterwards, Fang Yi walked out of the alley. Outside the alley is a street. There are many people and it is very lively. The buildings are all relatively short, and the tallest ones are only 3 or 4 stories tall. On both sides of the street are various grocery stores and small vendors. There were constant shouts and shouts. Many ordinary people were bargaining at the vendors. There were also some ladies passing by quickly in rickshaws. This is the period of the Republic of China. Single quote. Looking at the retro scene in front of him, Fang Yi sighed. Just when Fang Yi was looking at the street, there are also many people on the street, looking at Fang Yi secretly. Mainly because Fang Yi's current image is very good. He has a tall and strong figure, wears a slim tuxedo, and shiny leather shoes. In addition, Fang Yi has an extraordinary temperament. Everyone around him thinks that Fang Yi should be a noble son of a certain big family. Fang Yi ignored the eyes of others and came to a small vendor. The small stall sells domestic porcelain, and there are many porcelain bowls and vases on the stall. The stall owner was an old man in his 50s. When he saw Fang Yi coming over, he immediately showed a flattering smile. "Sir, what do you want?" Fang Yi, of course, was not here to buy anything, so he asked, "Excuse me, sir. How to get to Yizhuang?" The little old man was slightly disappointed when he saw that Fang Yi didn't buy anything, but he didn't dare to neglect it. After all, Fang Yi didn't look like an ordinary citizen. "Sir, please go straight along this street. When you leave the town, there is a bifurcated path. Just go straight to the right and you will be there." "Thank you, husband." Fang Yi thanked him, turned around and left. In order to prevent unexpected situations, he decided not to waste any time and start his plan directly. Follow the instructions of the little old man vendor. Fang Yi left Renjia town and saw a bifurcated path. He walked along the path on the right, and after a few minutes, he saw an old house in sight. The surrounding wild mountains and ridges. But there is a house here. Naturally, it is Yizhuang. Fang Yi strode over. Surrounding Yizhuang is a courtyard. Standing outside the yard, you can hear the crowing of roosters inside. It seems like someone is feeding the chickens. Fang Yi remained calm, came to the door and knocked on the door. Boom, 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 who? A man's voice came from the yard, followed by the sound of footsteps. Then, the yard door was opened, revealing the figure of a man. This man was thin in stature, but his face looked very old, and his facial features were not symmetrical. He can be called an ugly man. Paired with his old-fashioned clothes, he looks very funny. Fang Yi, who is familiar with the plot, recognized who this man was at a glance. He was one of Uncle Ju's apprentices, literary talent. Who are you? Wen Kai looked at Fang Yi and asked. Fang Yi did not answer, but asked with a smile, "Excuse me, is Uncle Ju at home?" "You want to find my master." Wen Kai looked Fang Yi up and down, and when he saw that Fang Yi was well dressed and had an extraordinary temperament, he felt moved in his heart. "What do you want from my master?" Wen Kai said. "I am Uncle Ju's true disciple. If you need any funeral rituals, you can come to me the same way." This guy regarded Fang Yi as a potential customer who came to the door. "Sorry, I only recognize Uncle Ju." Fang Yi smiled and asked again, "Excuse me, is Uncle Ju at home?" Wen Kai curled his lips, but did not dare to neglect, and said truthfully, "My master has gone to town and will be back in a while. You can come in and wait." Hearing that Uncle Ju was not here, Fang Yi's eyes suddenly flashed. It would be better if Uncle Ju were not here. If Uncle Ju were here, with Uncle Ju's strength and Taoism, he might be able to cause some trouble for Fang Yi. No. After the words fell, Fang Yi suddenly took action and grabbed Wen Kai. His powerful strength immediately made Wen Kai unable to move. "You, what are you doing?" Wen Kai was shocked and angry. Fang Yi didn't say anything, but grabbed Wen Kai with one hand and walked into the side room next to him. With his current strength, grabbing someone with one hand is almost like catching a chicken in the side room. There are many coffins. In order to save time, Fang Yi plans to ask Wen Kai, "Which body is Mr. Ren's body?" Wen Kai scolded angrily, "Do you think I will tell you? When my master comes back, you will be dead." When Fang Yi saw this, he grabbed Wen Kai's arm with his left hand and gently pulled it. Click. One of the bones in Wen Kai's arm was dislocated. Fang Yi was merciful for Uncle Ju's sake. Otherwise, he could easily tear off Wen Kai's arm. Ah! The huge pain made Wen Kai couldn't help but scream. Fang Yi threatened with a calm face, "I'm pressed for time. If you don't tell me, my left arm will be broken, then both feet, and finally his neck." Wen Kai is not someone who is not afraid of death. When he heard this, he immediately begged for mercy. Don't, I said, the first coffin on the left is Old Man Ren." After hearing this, Fang Yi walked over and opened the coffin. A mere coffin board may be very heavy for ordinary people. But to Fang Yi, it's nothing. After the coffin is opened, a terrifying-looking corpse appeared in Fang Yi's sight. In the coffin, it was the body of Mr. Ren. However, the corpse of Mr. Ren at this moment looked very strange. His complexion is blue and black, but his body is not rotten. The skin is like old withered bark. You know, Mrs. Ren has been buried for 20 years. Under normal circumstances, after such a long time, the corpse should have rotted into bones long ago. What is even weirder is that the nails on old Master Ren's hands have grown long, like the claws of a beast. Paired with the Qing dynasty official uniform worn by Mr. Ren, it looks very scary. Ouch! Not good. Seeing the corpse of Mr. Ren, Wen Kai shouted, "It's going to be a corpse." Fang Yi closed the coffin board and said to Wen Kai with a smile, "Thank you for your cooperation. Don't worry, your arm is just dislocated. Just reconnect it. In addition, tell Uncle Ju that there is no need to worry about Mr. Ren turning into a corpse, I will take care of it." After saying this, Fang Yi let go of Wen Kai, held the bottom of the coffin, and carried it away. Such a large solid wood coffin, including the body of Mr. Ren, weighs at least 4 or 5 pounds and requires 4 people to carry it. But Fang Yi was able to carry it alone. And it looked relatively easy. Wen Kai was very surprised. knowing that the strength of the person in front of him must be very amazing. Where are you going to take Mr. Ren's body? Wen Kai mustered up the courage to ask. Fang Yi didn't say anything. Wen Kai hurriedly asked, you just left like this. How can you explain to Master Ren when you ask me, Master? Find a way to explain yourself. After saying this, Fang Yi was about to leave. He saw a few magic weapons such as peachwood swords placed on the table in the living room, so he took some and walked away, leaving the literary talent with a bitter look on his face. In Mr. Zombie, Mr. Ren is not the only original zombie. Uncle Ju's younger brother, the corpse chaser, has many zombies under his command, but that junior brother is now traveling around, and it will take a long time before he appears again in Renjia town. That is to say, currently, there is only one zombie near Renjia town, and that is Mrs. Ren. Now that Fang Yi has taken away the body of Mr. Ren, those who have taken on the task of killing zombies will probably be dumbfounded. Someone will definitely be tricked to death by Fang Yi this time. Certainly. Fang Yi can't control that much. After leaving Yizhuang, I happened to bump into Su Zaichou coming from town. Why are you moving so slowly? Fang Yi asked with a frown. Su Zaichou's pretty face was a little solemn and said, Fang Yi, I was in the town and I found someone following me. I got rid of him and came here. Oh, Fang Yi was surprised when he heard this. Follow Su Zaichou. What are you doing? Don't worry about so much now, let's go. Fang Yi said. Wen Kai just said that. Uncle Ju will be back soon. Fang Yi doesn't want to face Uncle Ju. It's not that Fang Yi is afraid of Uncle Ju or anything. With his current strength, he can kill Uncle Ju in an instant. He doesn't want to fight against Uncle Ju. First, it was Fang Yi who didn't want to take action against Uncle Ju. Having watched the plot, of course he knew what kind of person Uncle Ju was. Although Fang Yi could do anything to achieve his mission, there was still a bottom line in Fang Yi's heart. For a decent man like Uncle Ju, Fang Yi didn't want to get blood on his hands. Su Zaichou followed Fang Yi and couldn't help but glance at the coffin on Fang Yi's shoulder. This coffin looks heavy, right? Do you want me to help you carry it? No, just keep these. Fang Yi threw several magical artifacts from Yizhuang to Su Zaichou. These magic weapons are specially used to deal with ghosts. You should keep them for self-defense. Hearing this, Su Zaichou felt a little sweet in her heart. Does this big piece of wood care about me? How about you? Su Zaichou asked. I have the talent of fire, and fire naturally defeats ghosts, so I don't need it. Fang Yi said. After hearing this, Su Zaichou nodded and accepted it obediently. Fang Yi said again, we have to hurry up. We must reach the next town before dark, otherwise there will be trouble. Open double angle bracket, Mr. Zombie, is a ghost world. At night, if people are still in the wild mountains, there is a high chance that they will encounter evil things. Su Zaichou understood what Fang Yi meant and quickened his pace to keep up with Fang Yi. Not long after Fang Yi left, Uncle Ju finally came back from town. Seeing Wen Kai sitting on the threshold with a painful expression on his face, Uncle Ju was stunned and asked, Wen Kai, what are you doing here? What's wrong with your hand? Master. Seeing Uncle Ju coming back, Wen Kai burst into tears and said with an aggrieved face, a bandit came to our Yizhuang in the afternoon, broke my arm, and took away the body of Mr. Ren. Master, I am so miserable. Uncle Ju was shocked when he heard this. He first approached Wen Kai and looked at Wen Kai's arm. He was sure it was just a dislocation and breathed a sigh of relief. It's just a dislocation, bear with it, Uncle Ju said, grabbing Wen Kai's arm and quickly lifting. There was a click sound. Wen Kai's arm bones were reattached to their original positions. Don't do heavy work with this hand for a month, Uncle Ju warned, and quickly ran into Yizhuang and came to the morgue room. Seeing that Mr. Ren's coffin was missing, Uncle Ju's expression suddenly changed. There was no body of Mr. Ren. How would he deal with Mr. Ren then? Subsequently, Uncle Ju discovered that several of the magical instruments he placed in the living room and lobby were missing. What happened? Where is my magic weapon? Uncle Ju asked. Wen Kai said. They were all snatched away by that bandit. Uncle Ju looked ugly and said to Wen Kai, tell me the matter carefully. Okay, master. I was feeding the chickens in the afternoon, and suddenly there was a knock on the door. I opened the door and saw a pretty boy with a dog-like face. He asked me if you were there. I said you had gone to town, and his true face was immediately revealed. Wen Kai told the story of the incident with added detail. When he heard that Mr. Ren's body was about to transform into a corpse, Uncle Ju's expression changed drastically. After Wen Kai finished speaking, Uncle Ju immediately stood up and prepared to go out. Master, where are you going? That bandit is so strong that he can run very fast while carrying a coffin. He has been gone for a long time, so you probably won't be able to catch up. Uncle Ju said, you take good care of the house in Yizhuang. I will tell Mr. Ren about this and let Mr. Ren stop the people from chasing him. Putting this plan aside, Uncle Ju quickly walked towards Renjia town. Renjia town. At this time, in the only coffee shop in town, there are several young people sitting on the coffee table chatting. Guess who I met when I first came in? Who? It was the girl from Wusheng Academy. I originally wanted to follow her and see where she was going. Unexpectedly, this girl was quite alert and actually found me, blended into the crowd and ran away. Grass, you can lose track of everyone, but you still have the nerve to tell us. Do you know that it is possible to scare the snake away? What does it matter? Anyway, they must have chosen simple tasks. They are in the town and we will run into them sooner or later. By the way, why hasn't Zhao Fusheng come yet? Yes, Boss Liu, why did Zhao Fusheng go? I admit that he is great, but isn't it good for so many of us to wait for him? A few people were discussing in low voices. Lu Feng also frowned. It was Zhao Fusheng's idea to gather at the coffee shop. Everyone came, but what does it mean that you haven't shown up yet? Everyone began to feel dissatisfied. At that time, a strong man nearly 2 meters tall walked into the coffee shop. In this era, due to many factors, most people are generally not tall. With a height of 2 meters, he is definitely a little giant, standing out from the crowd. The most important thing is yes. This person is not only tall, but also extremely strong. His muscles are as strong as granite. With such a body shape, just standing there gives people a strong sense of oppression. I was just announcing Zhao Fusheng. Several people in the crowd shut their mouths when they saw this strong man appearing. Because this strong man was Zhao Fusheng. Brother Zhao, this way. Mengshu waved to Zhao Fusheng. After Zhao Fusheng saw it, he walked towards a few people. He did not explain why he was so late. Because in Zhao Fusheng's view, he does not need to explain to others when he does things. Is everyone here? Then start planning, Zhao Fusheng said. Several people were a little dissatisfied, but they did not dare to say anything. Lu Feng frowned and thought for a while but still did not speak. He has decided that this mission is over and he will not cooperate with this guy Zhao Fusheng in the future. Because Lu Feng is also a proud man. Zhao Fusheng's behavior caused him dissatisfaction. At this moment, there was a burst of noisy sounds on the street outside, as if something had happened. Several people just by the window on the second floor. I heard movement and immediately looked under the window. I saw a group of uniformed security teams on the street, quickly leaving the city. The leader was Ren Tingting's cousin, the captain of the security team. Away. Get out of the way, get out of the way, don't block the way. Ah. Wei said loudly as he walked. A corpse theft occurred in Yizhuang. Whoever can provide clues will be rewarded with 10 oceans. If you catch the thief, you will be rewarded with 100 yuan. Hearing this, the people who met were all surprised. Body theft case. Who is so perverted? Stealing a corpse. Why steal the body? It's such a vast world, full of wonders. $100. If I could catch that thief, I would be rich. As for the people upstairs in the coffee shop, their expressions changed when they heard Wei's words. At this juncture, a corpse theft occurred, which is obviously abnormal. It is most likely that they are there, fellows. Quote exclamation mark. Could it be a coincidence? Some people couldn't help but say. His words were immediately refuted by others. Coincidence. It would have happened sooner or later, but it happened at this time. We must have met our colleagues. Hearing the discussion of his companions, Lu Feng also frowned. Then, he looked at Zhao Fusheng. Lao Zhao, what do you say? Zhao Fusheng looked calm and unhurried, and said, let's go to Yizhuang to have a look. Good. Everyone acted together and headed to Yizhuang. Half an hour later, Mr. Ren also hurried to Yizhuang. After all, the missing corpse was his close relative, so even if he was just pretending, he still had to come and have a look. Moreover, Master Ren is really anxious. It's not that Mr. Ren is very filial. But the body of Mr. Ren is related to the feng shui of the Ren family, and it cannot be careless. Uncle Ju, if the body is placed here, how could it be stolen? Hearing Master Ren's question, Uncle Ju looked a little embarrassed. The body was lost in Yizhuang. As the owner of Yizhuang, he must be responsible. Mr. Ren, the old man's corpse is about to transform. I suspect that the thief may have stolen it back to raise it. Ah, what to do? Master Ren asked anxiously. Can you find my father's body? Uncle Ju thought for a while, then gritted his teeth and promised. Don't worry, Mr. Ren, I will definitely find the old man's body. The conversation between the two was completely overheard by a figure outside the yard. After a while, the figure came to the woods next to Yizhuang. It has been found out that what was stolen was the body of Mr. Ren. To be precise, the body was not stolen, but snatched away. After hearing the news from their companions, the expressions of Lu Feng and others changed. Even Zhao Fusheng had a cold look in his eyes. There is someone who has the same plan as ours. Who could it be? Among the few people, the only girl, Meng Shu, couldn't help but say. Could it be Shen Fei and the others? Some people speculated. Shen Fei is also the genius of Martial Arts Academy, and one of the most powerful among the freshmen. His reputation is similar to that of Lu Feng, Zhao Fusheng and others. Lu Feng shook his head and said, it's not Shen Fei, he is the choice as a simple task. No matter who it is, I will make him pay the price. Zhao Fusheng said coldly. After hearing this, several other people cursed in their hearts. If you, Zhao Fusheng, weren't late, how could you let others take advantage of the opportunity? Now you know it's urgent. Lu Feng glanced at Zhao Fusheng and said, the most urgent task now is to find the whereabouts of Mr. Ren's body. Everyone works separately and after finding clues, leave a mark to inform everyone. No one had any objections, so they started to act separately. Actually, Fang Yi's plan is not complicated. The mission he chose was to kill zombies. The more you kill, the higher the reward. But, the one who is about to become a zombie now is the old man. Only one zombie is not enough for Fang Yi and Su Zi, so Fang Yi needs to make zombies. Make zombies in large numbers. He wants to use Mrs. Ren's corpse poison to infect others, turn them into zombies, and then go on a killing spree. This plan is bold. It even breaks the bottom line and destroys humanity. Of course Fang Yi would not harm innocent ordinary people. Even if the world in the forbidden area is reset, Fang Yi can't do it without a bottom line. It happened that at this time, the Xia Kingdom was being invaded by Western powers. Almost every foreigner has a sinful person on his hands, and his hands are stained with the blood of Orientals. Fang Yi's goal is to turn these foreigners into zombies and slaughter them. He plans to release Mr. Ren to Western countries and turn those countries into zombie paradises. As for whether he will be attacked by zombies, of course not. Fang Yi has absolute confidence in this. According to the performance in the movie, Mr. Zombie, the so-called infinite strength of zombies is actually just that. With Fang Yi's current strength, do you believe he can beat a zombie until he calls him grandpa? As for Lu Feng and Zhao Fusheng, their plans were similar to Fang Yi's, only Fang Yi still has a bottom line and is ready to harm foreigners. People like Lu Feng may not have this bottom line. Fang Yi, there is a village ahead. Su Zaichou pointed forward. At this time, the sky had darkened. The two finally walked out of the barren mountains and wilderness with the coffin before dark, and saw the village. Looking in the direction Su Zaichou pointed, Fang Yi could saw that there was indeed a village ahead. Many chimneys on the roofs were emitting smoke. It should be that the villagers were preparing dinner. Seeing the tired look on Su Zaichou's face, Fang Yi said, let's go there. We'll be there tonight. Stay one night in the village. Su Zaichou immediately nodded in agreement. After walking all afternoon, her physical strength was somewhat unable to keep up. Physical strength is related to a person's physical attributes. Su Zaichou did not add physical attributes to the previous reward in the number 2 Forbidden Land. Therefore, her current physical strength is similar to almost like a normal person. Su Zaichou was surprised when she saw Fang Yi's calm expression, showing no sign of fatigue at all. She didn't know exactly how much the coffin weighed, but it must have weighed a few hundred kilograms at least. And Fang Yi resisted all the way, but not tired at all. This strength and stamina are simply amazing. Su Zaichou is very curious about Fang Yi. However, this girl is very sensible. If others don't want to tell, she will not take the initiative to find out other people's secrets. This is Su Zaichou's cleverness. Place. As soon as the two entered the village, they were stopped by several villagers. That coffin is really disturbing. Who are you? What are you doing in our village? A man who seemed to be the village chief looked at the two people with vigilance. Fang Yi put down the coffin and showed a kind smile. Hello, brother, we are from Hunan province, and this is my mother-in-law. Seeing Fang Yi say that she was his wife, Su Zaichou suddenly blushed. Fang Yi continued. In the coffin is an elder who unfortunately passed away. Before he died, he hoped to return to his roots, so I can only take the elder's body back to his hometown for burial. It's getting dark soon, and I'm afraid it's not safe to travel at night. I want to go to your village, stay overnight. Hearing what Fang Yi said, the village chief didn't completely believe it. Although Fang Yi was well dressed and didn't look like a bad person, he still had to be on guard against others. These days, the war is in chaos. There are warlords and bandits everywhere. No one dares to take it lightly. Is there really a dead person in the coffin? It's true. If you don't believe me, I can open it and show it to you. Fang Yi said as he actually opened the coffin. The village chief didn't stop him and just watched from the side. When the coffin was opened, the village chief saw a blackened body lying inside, and then he believed it. Sorry for offending the elders, but a group of bandits have appeared here recently, so everyone is more careful with outsiders. The village chief said. Fang Yi waved his hand. I can understand it, I should. When the village chief heard this, his expression softened a lot. He looked at the coffin and said hesitantly, it's okay to stay overnight, but this thing is a bit taboo. Fang Yi immediately said, just give us a firewood shed. After hearing this, the village chief agreed and took Fang Yi and Su Zaichou into the village. Afterwards, a woodshed was simply tidied up and used as Fang Yi's shelter at night. The village chief was very polite and gave Fang Yi and Su Zaichou some food for dinner. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.